up, Woodward? We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener.
Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
What's up, y'all? We are 1 week out from surgery. The first days were a little rough, but now we are on the road to recovery and just attacking each day. And I want to thank all the kids who made me the videos. I want to thank all my teammates, all the fans, all the support all over social media. It's been amazing, and I'm doing great. Just pushing through. Got to see the Lions win today. It's a big win. So happy for them. And we're going to keep pushing and just keep taking this thing day by day.
What up, though, people? Thank you guys for choosing to kick off the day with Wake Up Woodward. It is the WUW Crew in the building. It's your boy Brandon Dan, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credentialed Pistons reporter and writer. And that right there, Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, the vet of the network. How you feeling this morning, brother?
I'm feeling all right. We've got some stuff to talk about.
It's an interesting week in Detroit sports, man.
Yes.
You know, by now, I know people have heard about the Jamo news. Jameson Williams facing 2-game suspension.
Yes.
And we're going to get a little bit more into that, but it's for violating the NHL's performance-enhancing substance policy. And I know we're going to get around the city and everything. It felt good to say, you know, Pistons.
Yeah.
Because their season opener is tomorrow. We're going to have probably a pretty packed show focusing on Pistons tomorrow. But today, you want to tell the people what we got on the docket?
Yes. Well, let's just say at about 11 o'clock last night, I had to rearrange a lot of things on the prep.
Oh, you don't say.
You don't say. Because, yes, we are going to talk about the Jameson Williams suspension. We do, unfortunately, have to get into Michigan and their weekend. A recruiting win.
We do?
We do. And because, in all fairness,
Stop it, JB.
I have a segment dedicated to a JB Smoove just talking his ish about Michigan State. Because you know what? They got a big win this weekend. They actually looked good coming off a bye, and Michigan did not. So a lot of it's not going to be the most fun show for Michigan and Lions fans, but at least JB Smoove gets to be happy for a segment. And as your friend, I'm happy for you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and you know what, man? I know it's going to be a great show. Everybody on here, true professionals, great at what they do, and I can't wait. You know what, JB? You listen to us all preseason, and you listen to us cackling, so you do get the right to cackle a little bit right now, especially with the way Michigan is looking. I don't care how many interceptions or turnovers Aiden Childs has. I would take him on Michigan State right now.
Well, you don't say.
Have him, all right?
You don't say. Oh, man. But shout out to that dude, Justin. Shout out to Matthew Broder, our brother. We got intern Chase in the building. What up, though?
Hey, what up, though? How's it going? Good morning,
Hey,
everybody. How you
it's
guys
going
doing?
good. I'm loving the hat, man. Talk to me real quick.
Appreciate it. Yeah, got it at the National Monument Park, or the Gateway Arch National Park in St. Louis. Went there the final year of Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina's career. Wanted to go watch those guys in person before they retired. And I went to St. Louis for the entire series between the Yankees and the Cardinals in St. Louis. That was the same year Aaron Judge had his record-breaking home run season. So I also got to see him play live as well.
That's what's up, man. Man of culture, Chase Hamley. This is our mystery man, right? Hey, shout out to Detroit's #1 draft pick in the sound booth, Black Hollywood, a.k.a. KG.
With the Dragon Ball do-rag.
Let's go.
Dragon Ball
Let's
do-rag.
go.
Stop it, man.
I love the fit.
Hey, stop it, man. I
Where's
appreciate
KG today?
He's somewhere in the world. He's like Carmen San Diego. I don't know, man. But no, I'm chilling, man. It's do-rag Kenny today. You know, just got the dreads tightened up, feeling good. But overall, man, just hopefully it'll be a big day, man. Word to JB. You know, we got hopefully got something cooking later on, man. But besides that, chilling, man.
And Woodward Sports MVP in the Titty Booth on a Tuesday. That is JB Smoove.
Yo,
what up, though?
What's going on? Like KG said, a little nervous about today, hoping that everything goes on straight, but hey, I'm happy to be here.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. And you know what? I know we got talk about the Red Wings. They got a big win over the weekend. Yes. Wanted to be able to, just for 2 minutes, just get everybody's quick excitement level on the Pistons. It is on the way. I don't know why. It just seems to be this swelling of optimism everywhere I'm turning to, whether it's comments on articles, comments on posts. Detroit Pistons fans are starting to be a little bit more optimistic about this team. So I just wanted to be able to go around the room real quick and, hey, get the heat check, because you know what? WUW Crew's going to be in the building for the home opener.
Oh, yes, we will. And, yeah, I'm feeling much more optimistic as the time goes on. Yeah. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I believe in JB Bickerstaff and I believe in Fred Vinson. We've seen, even in the preseason, and I'm not trying to take a preseason victory lap or anything like that, Stick's godson Jaden Ivey shooting over 50% from three. Did you hear that? Stick just nutted. But but to be fair, that's actually splat. A really positive sign that maybe Fred Vinson can work his magic on Jaden Ivey and can maybe work it on Nassar Thompson, maybe, and Ron Holland, and, you know, Cade Cunningham, I think, is going to have a big year, and the veterans that they added. I think Tobias Harris is about to have one of the most efficient seasons he's ever had. So, yeah, like I said, my final prediction is still 32-50. I could see it. Maybe creep into where they're fighting for a play and playing somewhat meaningful games in March, but even 32-50, that to me is a successful first season.
I like that. JB, what is the reason behind your optimism? Because I know everybody here is optimistic as well, but tell me why.
It's the better coaching that you have. JB Bickerstaff has shown in past before that he can improve a defense and hell, offense as well too. I think if the Pistons take a step forward, it's going to be with him. And I definitely think having Cade back here, Cade and Ivy fully healthy, ready to go. I think they've gelled a little bit more, and I definitely think that this Pistons team could, surprise you this season. I'm at least doing 35. I'm not going as crazy as 40 wins, but I'm still on the hype train that they can at least improve this season. That's all I want to see.
Yeah, man, and it makes a world of difference when you actually have people in charge that give a damn. And not to say,
talk to me about your optimism.
No, like I'm very excited for this team and definitely the growth of the young players. And not to say Monty didn't give a damn, but maybe his heart just wasn't in it, man. We know everything that he had been through, and to come into this situation, which was, for lack of better words, a shit show, to coach that. It just didn't work out like it was supposed to. They were a better team than 14 wins last year. That's why I'm bullish on them being 35 this year. I think they can make the right improvement as long as JB Bickerstaff figures out the Cade and Ivy fit and gets the most out of his big man like we've seen them do in the past.
I like that, man. I know, Chase, I know you keeping the chat busy, but your optimism. I know that you always support our teams, but what's your reason for optimism for these Pistons?
Well, I remember calling in last year and talking to you guys about just needing to have better defense on the inside and getting better rebounding. I think having a coach like JB Bickerstaff come in here and work with our bigs and just overall this team as a whole, I think we're going to see a big improvement. I think not only does he want to be here, but the team seems to be buying in a whole lot more than before. And I'm really excited to see not only what's going to happen with Cade this year, but Jaden Ivey seems to be he's really going to step up and hopefully prove everyone wrong who was trying to ship him out of town a year ago.
Man, you know what? And that's the word. That's the word. Jaden Ivey looks like a person who is true to his word. He's one of those guys that if he says he's working, or if a coach says he's working, you believe it. You see it as it relates to his physique. You see it as it relates to his body of work. And it's not just now. What we saw through preseason was more of an improvement over the last 15 games of last season, where he shot 36.1% from behind the arc on over 5 attempts per game. He was already showing then, through all of the noise, through all of the BS, through all of the ups and downs, that he was ready to play. And he's going to continue to just work no matter what's going on around him. Those are the types of players that you want on your squad, especially when they're doing this at a young age.
Well, and I think Jaden Ivey this year, I think he will show that he's very coachable. Unfortunately, last season, it didn't seem like there was anything he could do to make that man, Monty Williams, happy. And like I said this year, with the improved three-point shooting that we've already seen in the preseason to where it's over 50%, that to me is a great sign. And you saw them play really good defense in the preseason as well. And again, nope, preseason victory laps are not a thing. I'm always that guy. But at least in the NBA, you saw the starters and those guys play a lot of minutes, unlike in the preseason with the Detroit Lions, where none of the starters played.
No, you're not going to victory lap their defensive efficiency rating. But, we can look at some of the trends, though. Holton, 3 of your 5 teams, under 100 points.
Huge.
And you can look at the fact that, which one of us had a complaint about Jaden Ivey's defense like we did last year? When we just looked at the game, remember what we were saying last year? Nobody. I didn't see it. I didn't hear people say, oh, dang it, Jaden Ivey, he just cut back door because you turned your head, or you were late, or this. They were connected. They look like they're learning, and those are the things that when you're looking at preseason, that's what you're taking on. When we talk to JB Bickerstaff about what do you take away from preseason, he's like, it's if they're learning. Can we see that these guys are taking the next step as it relates to being in the right place, understanding what their responsibilities are, and that's the growth that I saw from the young guys through preseason. And Cade, I feel like there's been less discourse about him because I believe people just expect him to be that guy. He just got the bag. He took a good step this last year that was borderline all-star worthy, and I do believe a lot of people expect Cade Cunningham to just ball out this year and prove to be that leader.
He's almost that guy who you just expect big things from, and whatever he does in the preseason is almost immaterial because it doesn't really matter. With Jaden Ivey, I'm not saying that he had to show something in the preseason, but it's nice. It's nice to see. And what I'm seeing, at least in the preseason, and one of the reasons I'm so optimistic to piggyback off of what you're saying, is that JB Bickerstaff, he has a track record. Teams that he coaches play good defense. Teams that Fred Vinson is the shooting court, players that work under Fred Vinson improve their three-point shooting. And there's more examples than you even can know. And Trajan Langdon, I think, did a really good job in building the New Orleans Pelicans. Their biggest deficiency was injury. So guys with track records who are starting to show what they did at their other stops, I mean, what's the one of the greatest indicators of what they're going to be?
Thank
what
you
they've done in
guys
the past.
for helping me write my my season opening article.
Yes.
Thank you guys for that.
Yes.
But to summarize, what I'm hearing is you guys believe in the Detroit Pistons leadership, from Trajan Langdon to JB Bickerstaff and the other coaches that they've assembled, as well as the leadership on the court. You got Isaiah Stewart, who, if he comes off the bench, he's going to anchor that. You have Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, who, though they are young, they are still 2 of the longest tenured Detroit Pistons here. Those are your leaders. Those are the guys that you need to step forward. We talk about seeing Orlando Magic take that step forward, and though they do have some good young vets around them, it was really Paolo and Franz.
Yes.
But I also wanted to be able to give you some talk about the Red Wings as well, because I know Pistons was a little off the show sheet. But wanted to give some attention because we're getting down there and talking to Cade Cunningham today. But Red Wings is something that's going to take a much bigger spot on this platform as well as in your life too, Flannel Sam. I definitely want to hear you talk Red Wings, man, this win, and get the people caught up because we cover all 4 here.
Yeah, very quietly, the Red Wings got a nice win over the weekend at Nashville. A Nashville team which is surprisingly 0-5. But, that's just fine. The Red Wings are doing their best to take advantage of a team that had higher expectations that is struggling. And, you don't just go into Little Caesars Arena or play the Red Wings at home and expect to come out with a victory, right? At least if you're Nashville. But all jokes aside, one thing that I saw from this game that I hadn't seen from 3 out of the 4 games in which the Red Wings had terrible losses was, you can start with good goaltending play. Alex Lyon, I think, played really well. You could even say he played his ass off. 37 saves on 39 shots against. That is going to be enough to win damn near every single game that you play. I thought the defense was better, although I think Alex Lyon deserves more credit than the defense, but that's neither here nor there. The Red Wings scored on the power play. Hey, that's big. Dylan Larkin got himself a power play goal, which is absolutely huge. We need him to be a force on the power play. The Red Wings do if they're going to make the playoffs. And then you saw that offense, which I believe can be Stanley Cup caliber. You saw Andrew Kopp, somebody who I've been very critical of, especially given what he gets paid. He got a couple of goals. You saw Vladimir Tarasenko get one. That's what he was brought here to do, to take this offense over the top to where it can be the difference between not making the playoffs last year and making the playoffs this year. And Simon Edvinsson, I know he's not that's not his main job to score, but if he can provide something offensively along with being one of their better defensive players, that's absolutely huge. I mean, look all around the NHL. I'm not saying that Simon Edvinsson projects to be necessarily like an offensive defenseman, but they're everywhere. You see Quinn Hughes, you see Roman Josi, you see Evan Bouchard, I'm forgetting somebody, but even those three, those are some of the best players in the NHL that are contributors to teams that win. And I'm not saying Simon Edvinsson is going to be the offensive player that those guys are, but if he can provide something in that department and be a stout defensive player, that can be the difference too in the Red Wings making the playoffs, because you didn't have him last year until the end of the year. This is the year where Simon Edvinsson was going to be there from the start and be a difference maker.
Look, I got to ask you this question right here. Gromit 0237, because Flannel is effectively on this show. You're definitely one of our Red Wings guys, and I know for the network going to be taking a more prominent role in that as well. Happy for you on that. But Gromit says Yzerman on the hot seat, playoffs or bust.
What? I mean,
like we're there.
I think I don't think he should be fired if they don't make the playoffs, but I think it's a massive, massive, massive failure, especially since I think there are some things that the Red Wings could have done a little bit better in the offseason that have kind of reared their ugly head at the beginning. But, it's still early. They're a 2-3. Those 2 wins that they've gotten over Nashville, they've looked really good. And another thing that I forgot to mention is that Marco Kasper, he's with the big club now. And that was another one of Steve Yzerman's very heralded draft picks. And if he can contribute to this team, that's another step into them being that Stanley Cup caliber offense and being a playoff team. He had an assist. And the guy that was on the tip of my tongue, I forgot to mention Cale Makar, only the best offensive defenseman in the NHL. Forgot to mention him. But my point with it is that if you can get some from Simon Edvinsson along with stout defense, that's big. And, Marco Kasper being up, that's another one. We talk about Tarasenko. We talk about Kasper. We talk about Simon Edvinsson. Those were guys that really weren't contributors last year to the Red Wings. Certainly not Tarasenko. He was on another team. And then Edvinsson didn't come up till the end. If they all can be just positive contributers and bring what they bring, Tarasenko with his veteran scoring ability and his winning prowess, and then Simon Edvinsson and Marco Kasper being 2 of the highest, the most excitable prospects on the Detroit Red Wings, it could make a huge difference.
Man, and you know what? I see you guys out there. I see the Red Wings comments coming in right now. Herb Nash, Sam for GM, he knows.
I think that's probably I don't expect Herb Nash as being sincere, but you know what? Maybe I'll give you the benefit of the doubt this time.
We'll take it this time.
Yeah.
Hoof-hearted. The Yzer method is working. Relax. Patrick Offiar, who will replace him. It's that simple. Chuckle cheese. I'm a huge supporter of Wings and Yzerman, but they, in all caps, have to make the playoffs. Xavier D. Raymond got his targets on Sunday. Will be fine. And just overall, like obviously there's the expectation. And they didn't get off to the start that we wanted them to, but how are you feeling just overall about the Detroit Red Wings right now?
A lot better that they got that win on Saturday. A lot better that they showed me some things that I needed to see. Does that mean that the loss to the Penguins and just getting body bagged by the Rangers twice was acceptable? Certainly not, but you can take your lumps early in the year. You can improve as the season goes along, and I think it just depends if this is an isolated game or if they can keep up their stellar play. And they have the talent to me to make the playoffs, certainly on the offensive end. It's just, to me, it's all about goaltending and defense. How consistent will that be? They made some moves to bolster that, like a Cam Talbot, for example, but I've always been worried whether they did enough to improve their defense, but time will tell.
Hey, let's get it going, man, because if these teams get hot, it could be a fun time in October in the D, just like it started with the Detroit Tigers headed to the playoffs and the Lions getting hot. But we got a couple segments of Jamo. We wanted to we took this one a little bit longer because I Flannel, like I said, I'm looking forward to all of the Red Wings coverage that's about to come, and hey, I'm excited about them.
Absolutely. And you know what else you should be excited about?
What up,
Planet Fitness, of course. It's fitness that fits your budget. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement, and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
If you're going through divorce, child custody, or any sort of other legal issues where you need some help on your side, you need excellence. And KDK Law, located in Birmingham, certainly is excellent. Kevin and Catherine got your back when you feel like nobody has your back. Because I know when you go through divorce, family, or you're accused of any sort of crime, you probably feel like it's me against the world. Wrong. It's Kevin and Catherine and you against the world if you go to KDK Law. Hey, you don't want to be in these situations. If you don't want to be in these situations, I'm sure, but if you face it, life happens sometimes. Call KDK Law, and you'll be better for it in the long run, I promise. Probably shouldn't make promises, but that's okay.
Where was the ad? You didn't even have to read, did you?
No, I did not. It's all right.
Flannel Sam, boy. Yo, you know.
But improvising is getting a little bit better. It's certainly this read. Improvising this read is getting better than it was that one time where people thought that I was implying I was getting a divorce.
I think I got the seat that just sinks by itself now.
Oh, no.
Flannel set me up.
I think you do.
I didn't do anything.
But what up, though? People, welcome back in this Wake Up Woodward. You know what? The sun is shining. The Detroit Lions, right, man? I was walking in this morning thinking about it. This is a squad that has continued to just overcome adversity. And now they're faced with a little bit more when you hear about the Jameson Williams news. But for me, I know we're going to get to our concern levels, but I am not, just to kind of tip my cap a little bit, as concerned yet. I know that there's still more developments and details that are pouring in, though, as it relates to Jameson Williams. Specifically, he is facing a 2-game suspension right now for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing substance policy. You know, just your initial thoughts, Flannel, hearing the news, because obviously it kind of broke late last night. And I thought it was fake when I first saw it. Just to be honest with you, I was like, what is this, man? This is cute. But then all of a sudden my mind went back to the previous game and the limited targets and such. And I saw what Maz also sent to the group chat. And I was like, you know what? Maybe. But what were just your initial thoughts?
I mean, my initial thought was I was just disappointed because this was the year where Jameson Williams really put it all together. You've noticed that everybody says I'm a Jamo hater. I've probably been a little bit too hard on him at times, but this year I've just had to shut my mouth and enjoy, because Jamo has lived up finally to being that number 12 overall pick type player with what he's done on the field. I mean, up until last week, he was the leading, up until this last game, he was the leading receiver on this team. He's been a guy who's had 3 receptions of 50 plus yards, 2 of them for touchdowns, and then another 37-yard reception.
And defenses had to defend the Lions differently when he was out there.
He has been everything that all of us wanted, everything that I wanted, and he's really changed my mind about him in terms of what he can be for this team. However, unfortunately, when it comes to Jamo, getting suspended is part of his story. It's the second year in a row. His only 2 healthy seasons in the NFL, he's faced some sort of a suspension. And that's just, to me, regardless of what you think, or if you think the rule's dumb, or if it's like more of a technicality, it's just, it's part of his story at this point. I think the burden of proof is on him to prove next year that he can go into a full season and not get suspended, and that he comes back when he is able to come back and makes it up to his team by continuing to play the way that he played throughout the first part of the season. So I'm not going to yell and scream. People think that I'm going to take victory laps or whatnot. No, I'm just disappointed. That's all. I'm like a disappointed father, I would say.
Yeah, because he was working his way into being one of Flannel's godsons. I think he did, and that's why the word is probably disappointed. You know, this is a person that we feel like we've seen grow up. Like we've all used that terminology. We've heard Dan Campbell use that terminology, and so when you hear this, it is, you know, my mind instantly went to, all right, I want to hear and wait for all the news to come out. But even if this was a situation where it was a mistake and it was something that he just didn't handle appropriately, like maybe paperwork, or he didn't register prescription medication, it's just speculation, because I don't have all the details. I know more stuff is still coming out. But on that front, still, it's about the maturity. And we were wondering, did he mature this offseason? Is he coming in and being that player that ultimately, hey, you know what? We could depend on who Jameson Williams is going to be, both on and off the field, and celebrate who he is just as a person. And so when you use the word disappointed, I think that that's a pretty good word to summarize it, because we all love Jameson Williams. We all want Jameson Williams to succeed, and we're still all pulling for him. Like I've seen a lot of people say, you know what, we're not going to rush to judgment on what this could be. We want to wait until we hear everything. And so from that perspective, I think it speaks to at least how we've seen him kind of take some strides during the summer, but this kind of just hits you like a brick wall.
It does. And regardless of the facts and all of that, Jameson Williams also did say that he's just gonna accept it and take it on the chin. Those were his words. So regardless of what you think about the suspension, whether or not more facts come out to where it's not egregious or whatnot, it's about the inavailability for me. It's about the fact that he's been one of your most important players, and he's not going to be there for a couple weeks. And I understand we're going to get into it more on like how this affects the team and whatnot, but you know, for the next couple of games, you're going to be playing without your Defensive Player of the Year candidate, who's no longer a candidate, but he was when he played, and one of the most explosive playmakers in the game. Do the Lions have enough to withstand it? I think, at least for the Titans, I think so. More on that later. But it's part of his story at this point. You can't run from it. He's every single healthy season he's played, all 2 of them, he's faced a suspension.
Yeah, and for me, it boils down to the baseline of just responsibility. Like, I'm not calling anyone's character into question. It's just, as you mature, there's different responsibilities, especially, you know, as a team. You know, they need you out there on the field. We'll all make mistakes in our line of work, but they need you on the field, and this is a position where you've put yourself in a position to be there for your team. What up, though, KG?
Yeah, I mean, this absolutely took us all by surprise. I mean, I woke up this morning, and the last thing on my bingo card was an Adam Schefter tweet saying Jamo was suspended for 2 games, you know, because of a performance-enhancing substance. But I think this was probably just a mistake on his part, or an oversight by him and his team. I don't think it's that serious. It's only 2 games, but I do got to agree, going forward, though, you really want to not see his name in these kind of headlines, especially in terms of NFL suspensions and all that. We all know the Jamo story. We know some of the things that he's been through. And I've been one of the people especially saying, like, he's not a bad kid. You know, he's never had behavioral issues or anything anywhere he's been. It's just, you know, has he been perfect? No, but he had some maturing to do, and this year we kind of saw that, you know, blossom into the receiver that we have today. But, I mean, 2 games, the team is going to miss him absolutely, because the season he was having was absolutely great, and he was giving this Lions offense something they desperately needed in the over-the-top threat. And you just hope going forward you see his name in these headlines a little bit less.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad that you did bring up his response to it all, because at this stage, if you do have something pop up, then the next best thing you can do is how you handle that situation. And so to hear him just say, you know what, this is something that I got to take on me, and I got to be better moving forward. At this point in time, that's all that you really want to hear right now. And that's all that you can hear from Jameson Williams, if he's going to at least start this track towards, all right, let me reset. I had some good progress this season. Let me not throw that away, and let me get right back on the same track that I was and be that reliable player that was looking like, for large parts, a number 1 type wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. But what up, though, Chase? How you feeling, man?
I mean, it sucks, bottom line. You know, it's just like it happened. You can't talk about coulda, woulda, shoulda. All we can do is just move on and just, you know, get ready for the next game. He's not going to be playing in the next 2, but that's just how it's going to be, and we just got to keep moving forward. Can't focus on that. Team's got to focus on the Titans.
Yeah.
Kind of just point and simple.
Yeah. And that's, I know we're going to get into that a little bit more in the next segment, but really quickly, JB Smoove, man, just your thoughts on it. I know, you know what, if anything, Jamo did not have to work his way of this season into being one of your godsons. You were already like, you know what, he's going to be that deal this year, man. How you feeling, man?
You know, I still haven't lost faith in Jamo, but maybe this is a little bit of that, you know, adolescence showing just a tad bit, just a little bit more. But I don't know, I kind of feel like you. When I first heard it, I was like, oh, this is fake, just because the picture looked a little off. So I'm like, all right, this might not be real. And, you know, there is that Adam Schefter fake parody account going around on X right now.
Darn.
So, yeah, you didn't want to get got again. So I was hoping that, like, this was just fake and nothing. But next thing you know, news started rolling around everywhere that, yeah, this is actually a thing. This could happen. And I don't know about me or you guys, but just the wording kind of tripped me out just a little bit. Performance enhancing substance. So for me, I feel like that's kind of like, you know, something he just didn't report to the NFL or something like that, and it just caught up with him, as he says in his statement as well, too, that he has to just take it on the chin. So to me, it feels like he kind of knew about it a little bit before anything was about to happen, and I mean, we seen what happened on Sunday. So Jamo, just do better next time, man. We're not upset or anything. We're just a little disappointed, but you know, the team's got your back, and we got the Titans as of right now, so it's all right.
Yeah. Because the distinction here, if it was performance-enhancing drugs, he'll be facing a 6-game ban. Right now, it was as it relates to substance, which we're still trying to figure out what this was, and that's why he's facing just a 2-game ban. Because there was a lot of people who instantly went here. See, that's why he was having the year he was having. See, that's why he was just setting the other. And it's just like, man, that's why y'all really gonna go at this character like that?
Yeah.
Like my man wasn't working. Like, you know what I mean? So that's why I was like, look. I think this has more or less to do about responsibility and maturity. I didn't believe that the dude was juicing when I first heard 2-game suspension for such and such, but you already know how the internet will make a muck and run of things. And so that's why I'm glad that there's some distinctions and clarities that both you, Flannel, and JB brought up this morning that really helped to put this thing into, I think, more of a proper light.
Yeah, I know that there's speculation on what the substance might be. I'm not here to talk about that. But the thing is, and as I said, I think a lot of people in the chat are getting a different tone than what they expected from me. If he comes out after these 2 games, which this 2 games is on him, like I said, it's part of his story. If he comes out and continues his stellar play, I could still end up getting that jersey. At least it's only 2 games. If it were something more than that, I would probably be singing a different tune right now. But that's where it's on him to take this responsibility, take the suspension, and then come back and in a way make it up to your teammates. And he's done I think he's gotten a lot of goodwill with how he's played throughout the first part of the season, including from yours truly, to where something like this, I'm disappointed. The first thing I heard was like, Jamo again, WTF. But after I got some perspective, I'm like, it's going to be fine as long as he doesn't do it again, and as long as he comes back and continues to perform on the field like he has in the first 6 games.
Yep. And you know what? I do believe he's going to be a dog. That's what I'm hoping. And like I said, from this point forward with Jameson Williams, it's just what are you going to be? What are you going to do to be better?
Yeah.
Both off and on the field, both maturity and responsibility wise. So let's get into what that looks like a little bit more on the field. What the Detroit Lions do, obviously. There's not a lot of people who are shuddering in their boots about the Titans, but that's not the only game that Jameson Williams will miss. So let's get into it.
Yep, but first I got to tell you about Woodward in Maine and the pregame show. Hey, Detroit, on game day, wake up with Woodward in Maine, your source for all the insider information on the defending NFC North champions, your Detroit Lions. With insight from Detroit sports media legend Terry Foster and rising star Matt Broder. Get ready, Detroit, every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. Woodward in Maine, brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller Your Local Long Drink, Sabbath Coffee, and Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. And then, of course, you got to tune into the pregame show, hosted by these trustworthy fellas, bringing you the best content in terms of Detroit Lions game day experience. It's the New Holland Brewing Company pregame show. Every game day, Neil Rule and Sean Belegian bring you the best Lions pregame show. Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon on Woodward Sports, live at Second Best Bar in Detroit. The latest injury reports, fantasy sit and starts, and the inside scoop on your Detroit Lions. Join us for every Sunday home games live at Second Best Bar in Detroit, your official guide to Lions game day on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller Your Local Long Drink, Sabbath Coffee, Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, and Les Stanford Chevrolet.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
To prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward Sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward in Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go!
Tangerine Space Machine, the new easy drinking IPA that is out of this world. It's smooth, it's juicy with refreshing crushability. Take your taste buds to the moon with Tangerine Space Machine. Grab yourself a can of this intergalactic haze of goodness, the official beer of outer space. So yes, they know about this on the moon. Don't ask me about it. Don't ask me how I know, but they know about this on the moon. It's the New Holland Intergalactic Haze of Goodness, that intergalactic Tangerine Space Machine, brewed by New Holland Brewing Company, straight out of Holland, Michigan. But if IPAs aren't your thing, we always got Sabbath Coffee for you.
Fuel your Lions fandom, and you know what? All your Detroit sports fandom with the perfect cup, and become a subscriber of Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Whether you're gearing up for a big game or savoring a quiet morning, Sabbath Coffee Roasters has you covered with fresh, locally roasted specialty coffee delivered right to your door. Head to www.sabbathcoffeeroasters.com. Choose your favorite roast and use code Woodward to get 25% off your first subscription order. Awake, unwind, support local, and enjoy game day right with Sabbath Coffee Roasters. And we are back. What up, though, people? It is Wake Up Woodward, and we appreciate you guys for supporting the WUW Crew. Oh, man. KG, still no go? Dang. Hey, look, so we're going to need you guys to go ahead and still, though, satisfying like and hit that like button for all of us today. But we got to talk about Jameson Williams and what it means for the Detroit Lions to not have him there on the field. We've already seen that he's been a weapon for the Detroit Lions. The numbers are bananas. The yards per anything are crazy for Jameson Williams. Now you're taking this element off of the board for the offense, an element that we all talked about. Hey, he has the opportunity, and we've seen it, to take the top off of a defense. He has the opportunity to have a defense have to look a little bit more honestly towards his way and account for where he is on the field at all times. You're able to send him in motion, and the defense has to account for him because he's proven to be a threat in this Detroit Lions offense. And now you remove him off the board. I do believe that this is a team that is capable of overcoming multiple sets of adversity. But this is another one with Jameson Williams.
Yeah, and I think the question is, how are they going to fare in their next couple of games? That, fortunately for them, and you never want to discount an NFL opponent, the Tennessee Titans are one of the worst teams in football. I don't think there's any dispute about that. I think we knew they were going to be bad, but I don't even know if anybody knew that Will Levis would be this bad. And
man.
And good news for them, Mason Rudolph is their backup. Obviously, I'm kidding, but that to me is a game that the Lions should have no trouble winning regardless. The question, though, is the following week when they go to Green Bay and play the Packers. That's where it sucks that the Lions are playing so well, but the division is so tough, because that win against the Minnesota Vikings was absolutely huge and could do wonders for the Lions' trek to win the division and get the 1 seed. Now they got to kind of do the same thing in Green Bay. Maybe that game is for first place on the road at Lambeau, and it's going to be tough. And Green Bay, and I know we'll get into it more when we actually do the game preview during the week of. That secondary, Jair Alexander, Xavier McKinney, and their superstar rookie Evan Williams, my God, what a player he's been. That's tough. That's just another less weapon for the Lions to have to go up against that secondary. However, if you want some optimism, which there deserves to be plenty when it comes to the Lions, I do believe that this is still a very good offense without Jameson Williams. Do I think that they're 30 points a game? Not necessarily, but you still have the best running back duo in the NFL. You still have the best offensive line in the NFL. You still have Jared Goff, who's playing at an MVP caliber and did so this past game despite Jameson Williams only having 1 reception for -4 yards. You still have All-Pro Amon-Ra St. Brown. You still have All-Pro Sam Laporta, who is dying to have a breakout game. Look for that in the next couple of weeks, by the way. And just in time for this suspension, what else have you seen? Tim Patrick has turned into an absolute weapon for this team. He's reminded me in terms of his production of what you got from Josh Reynolds last season. And of course, we all know he's a damn good blocker. Same with Khalif Raymond. The first few weeks in terms of production, he didn't do a whole lot, but in the last couple of games, he had a 70-yard receiving game and a receiving touchdown last week. So the Lions have enough to withstand this. It's just, you would prefer if they had their entire team available, or at least entire healthy team available against the Packers, and they're not going to have that.
Definitely, but you highlighted it well. The reasons of optimism why this Detroit Lions offense will be able to overcome not having a weapon like Jameson Williams. I'm going to call him a weapon. He's proven to be that. But I believe that reliability is also a weapon, and that's what guys like Khalif Raymond and Tim Patrick have proven to be, in addition to, obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who, at the right time, proved, guys, I am that deal. I am that number one. Don't listen to any of that slot merchant noise and all of that. This team plays with a certain swag and that identity that Dan Campbell instilled from the get-go, the types of players that they go after. So it's like, you know what? That's what made me a little bit more confident before the Vikings game. As we talked through that show, I know that even you said, you know what? As we talked through the show, it was like, I'm a little bit more confident and comfortable with what this team actually is. And I give everybody that pause for concern, because we keep talking about it. How do you act as fans of a team with Super Bowl expectations when we've only been fans of the Lions for however many long years? So it's like, you know what? I don't give anybody that pause for concern. But this week, I don't think anybody should be concerned with if the Lions can at least overcome or hurdle this type of adversity. We saw what that offense was this past week. And Jameson Williams didn't contribute. I believe it was -1 yard.
-4. And I'm not saying that he didn't have an impact on the game or anything like that. But if you want to look even further back, and this isn't hate on Jameson Williams.
No.
The Lions were 4-1 without him last year, and I already gave you the plethora of weapons that they have. But if you're talking about the Packers game and Cody Ingle, I like your foresight. More on that in the week after this one. The Packers cannot stop the run. No, they can't. They most certainly cannot, and that does not bode well for them going up against the Lions. But my point is with the Packers is that despite all of that, despite the fact that Jordan Love has turned the ball over quite a bit, they're 5-2. Their pass defense has been good. Jordan Love, despite all of the interceptions, he's been very gunslinger-esque, but it's worked for him more often than it hasn't. They're still formidable, and I think we all would prefer to have Jameson Williams there, especially given the fact that it's not just Jameson Williams. It'll be your third game without Aiden Hutchinson. I'm not saying that the Lions can't win or that they can't go 2-0 with Jamo out. It is going to be more difficult, though, going into Green Bay. Fortunately, though, you got the Titans at home. That should be a win no matter what. No excuses for that one.
None at all. What up, though, JB Smoove?
Oh, man. I just got to ask Flannel this. Is it time? Is it time to fire up Kennedy?
Hey.
There's never a time to fire up Kennedy. Never. Stay in the practice squad where you belong. If it's, you know what? If anybody, maybe Allen Robinson. I don't know. Maybe Donovan Peoples-Jones. Thank you, KG. He's still making his presence known, even though he unfortunately cannot talk on the mic. Wish you could. And
dude, I'm not scared of this Titans game. Like Flannel said, this should be an easy win. Something that you don't need to kind of focus too heavy on, but still, you got to take it one game at a time. I just hate the simple fact that we keep seeming somehow, some way, subtracting week to week without actually gaining any positive players on this team right now. You're losing players left and right, whether that be the injury or, this substance bans that's going on now with Jamo. But the Lions still have a bunch of weapons that I'm sure are waiting for breakout games, or at least waiting for their time to shine as of right now. As you said, you brought up Allen Robinson as well, too. That's still a name that's on this roster. Tim Patrick is still out here making a name for himself as well, too. And a bunch of other players that want to see breakout games. So I'm not worried about the Titans. The Packers, we always kind of knew was going to be a coin flip game. So as long as we can get Jamo back for that Houston Texans game, everything should be fine.
Yeah, and to further your point that I started to make earlier, but kind of got away from, about players who need to step up or who are looking for breakout games. I mean, Sam Laporta, if you just look at his numbers, and I know tight end is a complicated position and wide receiver can be as well, especially when you play on a team with so many weapons. By the numbers, Sam Laporta is having a bit of a sophomore slump, because we were talking about him coming into the year as potentially the best tight end in the NFL, and he hasn't looked like that quite as of yet. And that's why I think that Sam Laporta is due for definitely a big game against the Titans. Against the Packers, we'll get into that more, but they have really good safeties. But against the Titans, I look for Sam Laporta to finally have his breakout game. He had that breakout moment, that 52-yard touchdown on the trick play, but I wouldn't be shocked if Sam Laporta gives you, 5 or 6 catches for at least 75 yards. Time for him to have a breakout. I want everybody to get in on the fun and everybody to live up to their preseason individual expectations.
Yeah, though, in a Ben Johnson offense, though, everybody can and everybody generally does have fun. The offense, it goes through these types of ebbs and flows, but I do believe that Sam Laporta is the type of guy that, when called upon, can step up. And if they need him to be somebody that can go out there and get the volume, we've seen him be that type of tight end that can go and catch 6-7 passes for over 100 yards and a couple touchdowns in a game. So it's like, I'm hoping that they get a little bit more deliberate with that, because he's a weapon.
Yeah,
he's a weapon. A little bit of the sophomore slump, or is a little bit of scheme, or is a little bit more attention. Now you're on people's scouting reports and such, because I think everybody was feeling just like that. This guy's looking like one of the best tight ends in the league. He was breaking records, not just rookie records, but NFL records for tight ends as well. So it's like, you know what? this would be a great time for him to be able to break out. I know that a couple weeks ago, I believe, or 3 weeks ago, Pete called that Sam Laporta was going to get that touchdown, and he did. And I do believe that this is a healthy week to predict that this will be his actual breakout game.
Sure, and the real K77, I alluded to it before.
Romp on the Titans.
It's not like he's dropping the ball or running or missing run assignments, and that's fair. And that's why I say that it's not all his fault. It does appear to me that he's been a little bit dinged up as well. He doesn't quite look the same. It's just that people were saying he was the best tight end in the NFL, and I think that they had a leg to stand on with that assessment, especially since, a guy like Travis Kelce looks to have fallen off quite a bit. But the problem is that when you're in your prime, when you're one of the best tight ends in the NFL, you have expectations to produce like it. You look at all of the great ones even right now, like Travis Kelce throughout his prime was just produced every single year at a high level. Same with a George Kittle. This isn't a diss towards Sam Laporta. I think that he's been fine. It's just this might be the perfect opportunity with one of the weapons that has been taking some targets away from him, and Jameson Williams this year being out, to really shine, at least in this game coming up against the Titans and hopefully at Green Bay as well.
Man, oh man. We're trying to get KG in on the conversations because I know that you're going to have a lot to say about the schemes and the strategies and whatnot. And yeah, with the Titans, we can all laugh it off and say you're supposed to go in there and do what you got to do. But for me personally, against the Titans, this is a game where I believe if you think you have an opportunity to just go in there and romp, then I believe this is also a good opportunity to go in there and practice what type of team you can be. Without Jameson Williams for that next game. I feel you, JB. There's some coin flip games, but I still want every single advantage that we can have. Yep. Especially, just to have this team well-rounded, because you got some other wide receivers like you talked about. Tim Patrick, get him a little bit more comfortable. You know what I mean? If Allen Robinson, who's still on the roster, or others that they have down on the practice squad, use this game as an opportunity to get these guys comfortable and get in-game chemistry and cohesion as much as you can. It's just one game with Jared Goff.
I mean, this is the game to really try some things, because I cannot state this enough. Tennessee's awful. I'm not saying that you're gonna win 37-0 or anything.
I was trying to be
like
a little more diplomatic with it, but what you said.
Well, and I'm not saying that they're gonna win. Lions are gonna win 37-0. I'm just saying that it is probably the most ideal game on the entire schedule for you to have. To play a game in which you're missing Jameson Williams and Aiden Hutchinson. Oh yeah. You still have enormous advantages all across the board, and advantages on the coaching staff, better roster, all of that. So just don't F around with the Titans, but try some things if you can. Get some guys involved.
Don't F around with the Titans.
Don't F around with the Titans. You know what? That's the game week slogan right there. That is the game week slogan. Don't F around with the Titans. Just handle your business. And you know what? Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a $20 haircut special, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave.
Say what?
And a hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. I know sometimes you guys see them whenever someone's in a mass chair. Hey, so you guys know they're going to take good care of you too. All you gotta do though, take advantage of this $20 haircut special. Just scan the QR code somewhere on the screen, and that will make sure that you get your coupon today. Ladies' Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. It's wicked awesome.
And while you're getting your haircut, getting that hot lather shave, play some bets with Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at
you're watching
Woodward
Sports.
Yeah, exactly. While you're watching us as well. Play some bets. Scan the QR code on screen. Use code Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000, and all you got to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet. And if it doesn't hit, they'll throw it right back in your account with no questions asked. Not at all.
Well, they throw it back.
They throwing it back. Yeah. Scan the QR code on screen. Use code Woodward1000. It's Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy and every Thursday on Armani and Edwards, where he's offering you top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. Hey, and we are back. It is Wake Up Woodward, and you know what? We might have something else that's back, so I might need you guys to go on ahead and satisfy this like button. If his mic isn't back, then y'all better tell Flannel Sam
to start singing.
But hey, there we go. Are we in there, KG?
We might be.
Hey,
I can't hear the music though.
Wait, what?
I can't hear it.
Oh no! What?
Can y'all hear it?
I hear it. Just hit it.
I can't do it. I can't hear it. I can't hear it, man.
Turn my headphones up.
Satisfy that like button, man. We got problems, man. We got problems.
Turn my headphones up.
But hey, KG, man.
Turn them shits up.
Listen, now that we got the mic going, though, we wanted to be able to talk about Jameson Williams a little bit. And you got, a little bit of coaching pedigree in the history and everything in the profile. One of our ball knowers. Talk to us, man. Obviously, against the Titans, it's not much that people are going to be worried about, but Jameson Williams thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, you are going to miss his presence, no doubt about it, because he was opening up the field for so many other people, man. You look at Amon-Ra, you look at Laporta, they're even Gibbs to some degree. Everybody has benefited from Jamo being that down-the-field threat, being somebody that, you have to account for, but 2 games without him, I think they'll be okay. They just got to find a way to win this one. And this is a team that they should be able to handle pretty easily. They do not have consistent quarterback play here with the Fighting Will Levises, man. He's been
the Fighting Will Levis.
I'm trying to tell you, he's been a turnover machine this whole year. They do have a kind of okay run game with Tony Pollard. And we've seen flashes from Calvin Ridley this year, but without consistent QB play, they don't really have much going on. Their defense ain't too bad, but the Lions should be able to handle them. They haven't really played an offense of this caliber, and I'm confident they'll be able to get the job done.
Was I the only one who thought that Will Levis's girlfriend from the draft or his ex-girl looked like Patty Mayonnaise?
What?
Hey, explain some things, right?
I don't know about that one.
From Doug?
Yeah, from Doug.
Oh, okay.
Old Nickelodeon cartoon.
Damn, I'm old, bro.
I am old. JB's over there not even know what we talking about.
No, I know what you're talking about, but I was like, Patty May? No, come on now.
Mayo Man.
I mean, I guess that gives him extra incentive to want to. But I'll tell you what, she doesn't need any extra incentive. I'll just say that.
Let's go.
Yeah. Like, quarterbacks, I'm going to quote like Brett Musburger. Remember on the Alabama game? Oh, these quarterbacks get all the best looking women. Talking about A.J. McCarron's girlfriend. We all remember that.
I don't know why you said that live on air.
You remember that, JB?
I remember that. Why could you say that live on air?
Like, man, people.
But JB, AJ McCarron's girlfriend though.
Hey, smoke show.
Now wife, congratulations.
I was gonna say thank you for not asking me that question.
I probably said too much myself, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh man. You know what? Jameson Williams, Detroit Lions. I think that really the story here for the Detroit Lions season, when I look for a theme, I thought it was just they're going to go out there and work over everybody. This was a year that they were going to put their foot down. They had some unprecedented, aspects of health, and that they weren't going to really face much adversity. But here we are in multiple forms. And so this team, when you talk about by the time they get to the playoffs, if, knock on wood, they are healthy, I believe that this is going to be one of your battle-tested and really one of the biggest chips on their shoulder type teams in this playoffs, in this entire NFL.
The good news is, the Lions won't crumble. You know that they're well coached, they have a great culture, and they want to pick the guys up who are down. And the thing about the NFL too is that it comes for everybody, unfortunately, and that's the hard part about making projections. That's the hard part about even the week-to-week grind, because you just never know who's going to be available. I mean, none of us ever fathomed that Aiden Hutchinson would suffer a season-ending injury. However, stuff like that happens all the time to star players. It's just with Aiden, he'd played every single game up to that point. And with Jameson Williams, I think a lot of people were going to be like, there's no way he gets suspended again, right? I certainly didn't think so. And here we are. At least it's 2 games instead of 4. So I think that they're battle-tested enough to withstand it to an extent. I still think the Lions need to do something when it comes to adding an edge rusher. That's neither here nor there. I'm sure we'll get to it throughout the week. I'm sure that Brad Holmes will make the move. But the fact that they won against the Vikings is testament to just their football character, the overall talent that they have on their roster, even with some injuries, and just how well coached they are.
Because that is the NFL. It is a war, battle of attrition. It's like who's the healthiest and who can overcome when you actually take some losses. That's what the NFL is.
Yep.
And I believe that the Detroit Lions, they are a team primed for that. They have the right mentality. They have the right makeup. They have the right leaders. Like we talk about why we are optimistic about the Pistons. Well, the reason why a lot of us, even though we're disappointed and even though we could be frustrated with some of the outcomes right now and some of the players that we will be without, I believe that a lot of us are measured and believe that this team is still on course to meet a lot of the expectations that we had before the season started.
Absolutely. And we mentioned losses. Speaking of losses, let's talk about Michigan football.
No.
I would rather not.
Why?
Elite transition.
We
Sparty.
we gotta take all of the lumps. I know JB liked that one the best. But first, JB, what do we got?
Swiss. Now, more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss will make sure that your current carrier is not slipping in anything extra.
Take that.
Can they protect us from Michigan football? Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today, 313-530-1698. Go Blue still. SwissINS.com. Let them know that Woodward Sports sent you.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and WoodwardSports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Have you ever thought about volunteering but don't know where to start? Start with the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign. Visit registertoring.com to sign up for shifts. You'll have an option to choose a 2-hour session at a physical Red Kettle site or participate in a virtual bell ringing shift to raise funds from the comfort of your own home. Virtual bell ringers can sign up and begin raising funds at any time. Traditional bell ringing begins on Friday, November 7 and runs through Christmas Eve, excluding Thanksgiving and Sundays. To sign up for volunteer shifts, visit registertoring.com.
All right. Merch?
You know I got some merch on right now.
Detroit sign shirt.
No Detroit sign shirt. But head over to WoodwardSports.com, click on that shop tab. New designs are dropping every single week. You know we got the Stoke Not Scared. We know we got the Boo Them Kids shirt. And you know we got the Woodward Tigers as well, too. New designs every single week for you guys. Might be working on some Sonic and Knuckles ideas, but who knows? Just stop by and check out the website, WoodwardSports.com, shop tab. Get swagged out for this next season.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. Thank you guys for kicking off your day with the WUW Crew. Got to talk a little bit more adversity here, especially if you are a Go Blue University of Michigan football fan, like myself, like KG, like Flannel.
Yeah.
Unlike JB Smoove over there, our resident Sparty. Hey, get out of here, man. His Doc Ock laugh. My goodness. Hey, but you know, we got to talk about Michigan football. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's just state the facts. 21-7 loss to Illinois. That sounds disgusting to say, especially if you saw any parts of the game or even the highlights. It was trash, man. And it was a couple times that the team had an opportunity to be able to make something happen. And to me, the question that just continues to play over and over and over and over and over again in my head is, how can it possibly be this bad?
Oh, it gets worse, because I got some numbers coming up. Not quite yet, JB. Not quite yet, but let me set the stage. This is the most disappointing Michigan team of my lifetime. This is the worst Michigan offense of my lifetime, and I've been through some bad ones. Hello 2014, hello 2008. Those were pretty bad too, but this one absolutely takes the cake. And do you want to know how I know it takes the cake? And you want to know how I know the last performance against Illinois was so bad? Michigan got held under 10 points for the first time since 2014.
Jeez.
Again, 2014, that nightmare of a season. That was the last year of Brady Hoke. And that kind of paints a little bit of a picture that we're going to get to later, because none of this stuff was happening under Jim Harbaugh. But it was a terrible performance. They had times where they struggled to move the ball, but even when they did, it ended in interceptions, fumbles, and missed field goals for the most part. And I think the sad part is that, to me at least, Michigan's defense actually played well enough to win. You saw Jayshon Barham have his best game as a Michigan Wolverine by far, and that's huge for this team moving forward if their offense can do anything about it. Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant continue to be disruptive. Will Johnson does what he does and basically shuts down half the field. He was only targeted once, allowed one reception for, I believe, 15 yards. Josiah Stewart is still playing well. They held Luke Altmaier, Illinois' quarterback, to 80 yards passing. They gave up too much on the ground, but still, it all leads to them only giving up 27 points, despite the fact that Michigan's offense gave them a couple of short fields early on in the game to spot them 10 points. And oh, by the way, did Tommy Doman forget how to punt this season? He had one of the worst performances as a punter I've ever seen in my life. And that was, again, something that was working against Michigan's defense, but they played well enough to win. But that offense, man.
It felt like he was throwing a 15-yard punt.
It was terrible. And
like, what?
He averaged 33 yards a punt. And it's not like he was trying to pin Illinois. It was just shake job, and then like a 36-yarder or something like that. Just terrible.
Like, it's like, bro, they were punting from like their 25 or 30, just off the touchback. And it was just getting beyond the 50. Yes. Like, what's going on?
Yes. And
how can it be this bad? This is incredible.
It is incredible. JB, put up those numbers if you would.
They just won a national championship. I thought during the offseason, I was like, that was my biggest question, is Sherrone Moore. Is he a program builder? I am not going to question his X's and O's. He is proven to be a guy who belongs within the fabric of football. But as a head coach in college football, you have to prove to be a program builder. And what's worked at U of M has been, as Jim Harbaugh showed, oh my goodness, man, complete command and complete control over not just what's going on the field, but also your recruiting process. I love the fact that Jim Harbaugh pushed the edge now to get what the players that he had to get. When I'm looking at Sherrone Moore right now, I don't know what the assessment process was. You know what I mean? Like, that's to me, it just was mind-boggling. You have rolled out 3 quarterbacks that all look like it hurts them to get 100 yards in a game.
Well, and that's and before you put up the numbers, I mean, think about this. This is the boulevard of broken dreams when it comes to Michigan's quarterback. You started off with Davis Warren, who threw 6 picks in 3 games.
Why?
You continue with Alex Orji, who threw for less than 120 yards in 2 starts combined, including one with 32.
We have a national championship.
Yes, absolutely, and that's fair. And then you put out Jack Tuttle, who committed 2 critical turnovers in the second half of a very winnable Washington game, and then committed a couple of terrible turnovers, including one in the red zone against Illinois. And JB, we got to see the numbers, both when it comes to offense and passing numbers. Look at these, Kool-Aid. Through 8 weeks of the 2024 season, Michigan ranks 12th?
112.
112th in points per game, 113th in yards per play, 117th in turnover margin, 119th in yards per game for those who are only listening on audio, 120th in first downs per game, 122nd in turnovers lost, 130th in scrimmage plays of 10-plus yards, and 131st in scrimmage plays of 20-plus yards. That's not all. It gets better, JB. What about the... Oh shoot! That was actually this is the passing numbers. They are 113th in interceptions, 118th in passing touchdowns when it comes to just the passing, 127th in passer rating, 128th in passing first downs, 129th in passing yards per game, 129th in passes of 10-plus yards, 130th in passes of 20-plus yards, and 132nd in yards per pass attempt.
How is that possible?
That's what I keep asking. How can it be? You're Michigan. It can't be possible. No. That's what I'm saying. Like, how did you do this? Like, I'm amazed right now, honestly. Yes. It's so bad, it's amazing. You just won a national championship. You have one of the biggest, most recognizable brands in the world. You have everybody behind you. It can never be this bad.
No, it
what
can't.
the, like...
Well, and this is what's...
let me wipe my eyes, bro, because it can't be that.
Well, and this is what's sad about it, because QT, in parentheses, M Wolverines in the chat, how does a team with Khalil Mullings and Colston Loveland have such a bad offense? Impossible. And that's where I'm going to as well.
This is trash.
Khalil Mullings is playing his ass off. He's the type of running back that saved them against USC, by the way, and throughout, up until the game against Washington, was legitimately in conversations for being maybe like all Big Ten. He's playing his ass off. He played well against Illinois. He scored the only touchdown. He had 87 yards rushing. But then he has to look around what's around him, with Jack Tuttle having a couple of turnovers, including an interception and a pick, and Donovan Edwards having a fumble, which is turning into a thing for him as well. So Khalil Mullings is playing his ass off. Colston Loveland is playing his ass off. He's still putting up solid numbers, albeit not what we hoped, despite the quarterback play that's around him. You saw on the first drive of the game, Colston Loveland was wide open and Jack Tuttle just missed him. And Colston Loveland, that's the thing. If you should not have an offense this bad with a first-round tight end and with an NFL running back. It's inconceivable. And I think when it comes to that, everybody deserves the blame. Sherrone Moore was an offensive coach. They have no quarterback.
That's what's so
Kirk
wild
Campbell
about
sucks.
this.
I mean, it's just this is the worst Michigan offense I've ever seen. And it's not like I said at the beginning, I was around through Stephen Threed and Nick Sheridan. I was there. It was bad. I know it was bad. I was there for 2014 when Devin Gardner forgot how to play football and the offensive line couldn't protect him and you had Shane Morris coming into the game. I was there. This is worse. And you know why it's worse? Because you have a first-round tight end and 2 NFL running backs, and it still looks this bad. You're coming off a national championship, and you have an offensive coach. It's very, very bleak. But speaking of coaching, let's talk about Sherrone Moore and maybe his culpability and all of this.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was like, man, look, let's take a quick heater real quick, because I saw Xavier D. He was like, man, Kool-Aid losing it is unusual and kind of funny. Like, look, I don't know how much people do or don't know, like, how much I love University of Michigan football. Like, my dad, my uncles, my cousins, my family, that's where we went. Like, my dad was in Detroit. We had a house there. When he got accepted to U of M in 84, had me in 86. I was literally born on the campus, man. Like, Michigan is bred, it's in my blood. Me and my grandfather and my dad. And my son got opportunities to, watch Michigan games, 4 generations of Kool-Aids. You know what I mean? It's like, I love Michigan. I love U of M, period. I love Ann Arbor. I love the culture. I want to see them do good. And when you support things like this, like I was going to go to U of M. And the reason why I didn't is because I wanted to play college ball. And, religiously, I don't play Friday nights or on Saturdays, so I had to go to a NCAA school that would accommodate that. So I had to pass up on going to U of M. Both Dearborn wrote handwritten letters. Like, I wanted to. I love this school. To see this, like, I try and keep the passion maintained sometimes with this. But it's like, to see this, it's just like, come on. Like, it can't be this bad. It does matter a lot.
Yes, and before we go to break, Chuck Brewer maybe getting a little nitpicky, which is fine, by the way, saying it's not worse than it was back in 08 and back in 08 or 2014. And I understand that. He mentions the Big Ten is better, which is 100% true. It's just my thing, too, if you want to also transfer it to the defensive side of the ball, if you combine the offense and the defense in the whole Michigan team, they have 4 projected first-round picks. They have 4. 3 projected in terms of the PFF big board to go in the top 10. And we're talking about them potentially. Are we sure they're going to beat MSU? Are we sure they're going to beat Northwestern? We're having those conversations. I get it. We won the Natty. That does make it a little bit better. And all of you would be lying if you said that it didn't. But just if you look at this season in a vacuum, don't watch if you're near sharp objects. Don't, because you're not liable, because you still are liable for what you might do to yourself or others with those sharp objects. So, anywho, now that I got a little bit morbid, how about Les Stanford? What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people.
And you stay away from sharp objects.
Yes, yes. And don't go running over anybody either, because that... Michigan football's bad, folks. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust, on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford and Dearborn today at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Hey, join the best youth football league in Metro Detroit. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeastern Michigan's 3C Sports League offers youth ages 5 to 14 with 6 exciting teams to choose from in Detroit, Belleville, Highland Park, and East Point. All coaches are trained, certified, and undergo background checks. As you guys know, we know Kool-Aid and JB and our sales guy Brady were there. The 3C Sports League just wrapped up their championship. But you know what? Those kids got the thrill of a lifetime getting to play at Ford Field. So for future 3C Sports Leagues, you got to sign your kids up because it is such a great organization. And you might have some future Lions getting an early taste of Ford Field. Who does not want that opportunity? And as of last year, it was just $175 per child, which it seems like a bargain to me, given how expensive a lot of other things are. So if you're interested, go sign your kids up. There's locations everywhere. As I said before, Detroit, Belleville, Highland Park, and East Point. If you live in Metro Detroit, you're probably close enough to one to register. So Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeastern Michigan.
Hey, and we are back at his Wake Up Woodward. And you know what, man? I got a little bit passionate heated in that last segment about Michigan because it does matter. And not just because they've taken a step back, but when you talk about college football and the coaching, it's about how you run a program. I had no problem with them taking a step back, losing a lot of talent, us kind of riding on the hopium of a national championship run, maybe having some fun in some insignificant bowl, or maybe even sneaking into the bottom of the playoffs. That's where a lot of our expectations were. Now we're like the doormat of every NCAA stat. And we're not making any noise in this Big Ten while it's expanding. It's not like it's just the old Big Ten. This is a Big Ten where if you lose your footing for just a little bit, what is this doing to the next generation and wave of recruits? And that's where a lot of my angst comes from, is because we're trusting Sherrone Moore to, at the very least, have a handle on how to build a program. So if you have to go and get coaches in here that can do the darn thing, then hey, you know what? At least we know you have a connection to being able to do that. When Harbaugh had to go and hit up the NFL, guess what? He could do that. You know what I'm saying? And those positional coaches, they handled their jobs. Right now, that's where my angst and my worry comes from, Flannel, is the health of the program overall.
Sure. And we were mentioning this during break. I didn't think that this team could hurt me this year, and unfortunately, they have. And Cody Ingle, he says a lot of stuff that I think is out of pocket against Michigan, but I will read this one. If Ward didn't hire Moore, people would have been pissed more than they are now. Let's be honest, it was an emotional hire. Fans wanted him, but now say it's a bad take. And I went through the gamut of this on Big D Energy last Friday, to where I will say it before and I'll say it again. I think I've already said it on Wake Up Woodward. I'll never apologize for having a lot of national championship bravado afterwards. I'll never apologize for wanting Sherrone Moore at the time. Mm-hmm. I'll never apologize for thinking for thinking more positively about Wink Martindale and the like. I will never apologize for that, and I will never slander Jim Harbaugh because he still brought this school a national championship. I don't care what he left. And I understand I'm sounding a little contradictory because this team is hurting me, but there will never be any Jim Harbaugh slander from me. That being said, this team, unfortunately, the Sherrone Moore coach team, and I'm not saying he should be fired already, has all of the landmarks of a poorly coached team. It's worse than you think when you really crunch the numbers. Because let's start. Penalties. This season, Michigan ranks 52nd in the nation in penalty yards, in terms of they've had the 52nd least amount. Last season, they were third. That to me is discipline and coaching. This season, Michigan has a -7 turnover differential, and last season they had a +19, which was best in college football.
That was I was going to say that was something that I believe they were going to be able to rely on, especially when you hear names like Will Johnson. I thought, you know what, maybe they can be a little bit opportunistic with this defense, disguise a little bit of their coverages, and maybe catch some of these teams who believe they can come in here and lunch, catch them sleeping. Sure. I haven't seen any creativity.
And the problem too is Will Johnson, he's had a couple pick sixes, so he's fine. It's more about the offense and how they're turning over the ball, and now Donovan Edwards is turning into a fumble machine, which that's another story for another day, another story in this shit sandwich of a season. But yes, let's start penalties and turnovers. But that's not all. Poor second halves. You've seen it for 5 consecutive games. For 5 consecutive games, Michigan has lost the second half. That's coaching. That's lack of adjustments. I mean, you can go back to Arkansas State, where Michigan let Arkansas State backdoor cover and make what should have been a 28-3 game turn into a 28-18 game. Let's go back to USC. A double-digit halftime lead turned into a fourth quarter deficit where Khalil Mullings had to save the day. Let's look at Minnesota, where Michigan was cruising to a win, but led up 21 fourth quarter points to Minnesota and probably should have lost that game because Michigan got bailed out by a bad onside kick call. Let's go to Washington and Illinois. In both of those games, Michigan has had a single-digit halftime deficit and lost by double digits. That's coaching. You need to be able to make second-half adjustments. You saw last year how Michigan finished games, how they finished the game against Ohio State, how they finished the games against Alabama and Washington in the college football playoff. This Michigan team is continuing to fold in the second half, but unfortunately, that is not all. What is another hallmark of a poorly coached team? Underperforming based on the talent that you have. Michigan, this season, one of the reasons that I was so bullish on them making the college football playoff, despite everything that went on, is because when you look at the PFF big board for the 2025 NFL draft, this is the PFF top 200. Michigan has 9 players, including 4 projected first rounders, and 8 of them have played on a regular basis. The only one who hasn't is Rod Moore. That's a team that is falling short of expectations, and to me, that falls that falls at the feet of the coaching staff. And even more so than that, you look at Sherrone Moore, and I think this falls at the feet of him. Bad personnel hires. Wink Martindale. And I get it. I went through why I was more optimistic at the beginning. I should have never been this optimistic because Michigan has on paper one of the most talented in terms of high-end play defenses in college football, but they are 14th in the Big Ten in points allowed per game. 14th out of 18 Big Ten teams. And Kirk Campbell, you're not absolved either, because I know this is hindsight, but what Kirk Campbell and this offensive staff should have done all along is they should have committed to Alex Orji in the offseason and just ran a service academy style offense. Neil Rule's going to be proud of me for that one, but that's what they should have done because Khalil Mullings is playing great. Donovan Edwards, despite his fumbling issue, has a much higher yards per carry this year than he did last year. And Alex Orji, he showed in his first couple of seasons that he can make these big time runs. And even this year, his yards per carry is deflated because of sacks. Even he's had some nice plays. They should have been a team that runs like Army, but Kirk Campbell wasn't able to do that. And unfortunately, I've got one more. One thing that you saw this week that you can add to the list of a poorly coached team. Bad off of bye weeks. They had 2 whole weeks to prepare for Illinois, and that's what they came
for Illinois, bro.
And I get it, Illinois was ranked, but you can't lose to that team. You just can't. And if you want me to go a little bit further on why you can't lose to that team and why you can't lose to Washington is because I told you about Michigan's 9 players ranked in the PFF 2025 draft big board for the top 200, 8 of them who are playing. You know how many Illinois and Washington have on that list combined?
How many?
3. Coaching.
And that's why I get it. You're saying, hey, look, Illinois was ranked. Look, the expectation for us was that Michigan was going to be in the college football playoff this year.
Yes.
You can't lose to Illinois off a bye week. I don't care where they're ranked. I don't care where they are. That you can't do, and that's what you do. You shine a big spotlight on coaching, and I see Cody Ingle in the chat. Everyone's saying Moore ain't the guy are the same ones that hyped him up after beating OSU and PSU and wanted him to be hired.
Hey, Cody, I literally just went over that in the beginning, that I'm not going to apologize for wanting Sherrone Moore and for being happy. It's just, and I'm not saying he should be fired. What I'm saying is that his seat should be a little heated up, and that if they lose to Michigan State, then I think it could trend to him being one and done. And I get it. They just signed that 5-star offensive lineman. I understand that. The problem is that I don't have any faith based on this season that Sherrone Moore is going to necessarily know what to do with him. I understand as a positional coach, as an interim head coach, Sherrone Moore was exceptional. Just look at the track record. But as a head coach, if you have a losing season with this amount of talent, that's just, you can't have that happen. And also, one of the other reasons why I think one and done wouldn't necessarily be so bad, Mike G has mentioned him in the chat a lot today. And I'm not saying Michigan can get him, but look at what Kirk Cignetti has done at Indiana in just 1 year. And I get it. Indiana has a really easy schedule. I get it. But last year with Tom Allen, they were 3-9. And what did Kirk Cignetti come in here and do? He came in here and just murdered the transfer portal. They got a transfer portal quarterback, a transfer portal running back, who are your leading passer and receiver. And he also brought players galore from his old stop at James Madison. Their leading receiver is a James Madison transfer. Their 2 leading tacklers are a James Madison transfer. Their 2 leaders in terms of sacks are James Madison transfers. And this team is now undefeated 7-0 and looking at themselves having a college football playoff appearance. The point I'm trying to make is that turnarounds can happen quickly, and if Sherrone Moore continues to show a certain level of incompetence that I've seen throughout this early part of the season, my line is, if Michigan has a losing season, he's got to be one and done because of how quickly you can turn this around. How many coaches at mid-majors do you think want to come to Michigan and maybe bring some of their guys, like you saw with Kurt Cignetti, and just be the one responsible for turning around Michigan after that one bad year with Sherrone Moore? It's one of the best jobs in the country. You could get somebody else. And again, I'm not saying Sherrone Moore's obituary is there just yet. If they turn it around, if they finally play up to expectations, if they can finish the season even 7-5, 8-4, I'd be willing to give him another year because of the wins he's had on the recruiting trail. But if you have a losing record with this team, you're an incompetent head coach. With all due respect, love Sherrone Moore for what he's done, but this has not been a good job by him.
And that's why, a lot of the things you talk about, even his deficiencies, that's why I keep drawing back to, is he a little bit overwhelmed or in over his head as it relates to program building? He's been a good coach. That's why I'm not going to necessarily talk about his coaching. I would like to see a little bit more, Hey, what up, though, KG? I hear you. KG. I would like to see him do a little bit more to mix up this offense and take advantage of what he has there. But obviously, the question mark at quarterback is going to play the biggest thing there. And so your questions on, can he do something with that offensive lineman that's coming here, even if he's highly recruited? Well, I put that on. Is he going to be able to bring in the right people that can develop? Is he going to be able to get the right people that can coach him up? You know what I mean? Are they going to have the right strength and conditioning? Are they going to have all these other things that underneath the Jim Harbaugh era, we looked at the different, the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, strength and conditioning, and all the little different micro pieces. And sometimes you chuckle at them. You kind of laugh at when he starts talking about the health things, and you hear his players talk about, we do this and we drink milk now, and because it's good for our bones. Like, I remember they were doing that, and that's what we were doing. And now we're looking at this squad right now and some of the fabrics of what made, like the details that made some of Harbaugh in his success so special. It was the foundation that was laid there, and I just feel like some of that, a lot of that went away when he left because he took a lot of that with him, and Sherrone didn't do enough to insulate that right now with Michigan.
And it's hard to take over for a legend. Jim Harbaugh is, to me, and I think it's undisputed at this point, the best football figure in the history of Michigan football. And one more thing on this coaching before we go to break. And I see JB. He's calling for a Coach JB to be Jason Brown. I mean, he'd probably get fired after a day because of the society we live in, but that's neither here nor there. But I truly believe that if Jim Harbaugh had stayed, this is an alternate universe, obviously, and I think this shines light on the coaching staff that they currently have. If the staff was Jim Harbaugh, Sherrone Moore being like the OC O-line coach, and Jesse Minner being the defensive coordinator for this team, they'd have one loss. They might have lost to Texas. It wouldn't have been as bad. But I do think that coaching staff with this team would have found a way to go into Washington and Illinois and get wins.
I agree
Can't
with
lose
that.
those games. You cannot lose those games whatsoever. And I think when you say Sherrone Moore as a good coach, I will agree positional coach and interim. I have questions about, obviously I've laid it all out. That's
why I keep saying program build, bro. If you are a good front man, which I believe Sherrone Moore can be as a head coach, you're the CEO. And some CEOs, they have their hands a little bit more in what's going on, and others, they delegate a little bit more, and some, they have a good mix. I believe that Sherrone Moore is a good leader, is a good figurehead. You look at his track record, if you don't know, that guy has been a good leader for a very long time, especially of young men. And so I don't doubt him on that. He does have some deficiencies, but I believe he can insulate that. And that's why I guess the word of the day is disappointed, because you have everything at your disposal to make sure that you have success. That, to me, is what makes it kind of disappointing. I want to see him have success here. Yep. This is a guy that I'm like, okay, I thought during the summer, my first question was, remember, on this show, go back and run the tapes. My questions about him was, can he run a program? Can he go and do what Jim Harbaugh did that made the difference between, are we a good team? Are we just winning the Big Ten championship? Or are we winning a national championship and going to be taken seriously? Those are the things, man, that I was wondering, can he do? And so people are saying, well, Jim Harbaugh took his guys and left high and dry. But the problem is he also brought his guys. That's the whole component of it. Sherrone Moore is going to have to, which you're not saying fire him, and a lot of people, I'm seeing some people are saying fire me. I'm not saying fire. I'm saying, listen, let's raise awareness on the fact that, listen, guy, you got to do something about insulating and better supporting the foundation of your program so that all of the talent that you have, because I agree with you, you get different coaches in here, different philosophies, different strategies, you're probably looking at a different record right now.
Yeah, and that's the crux of it all. And unfortunately, a team that looks to be in a little bit of a better direction and with a coach that actually has proven to build a program, that's Michigan State. And I want JB to give his state of Michigan State and his feelings on the win over Iowa when we come back. But before we do, Sherrone Moore, if you want to stay as head coach of Michigan, you better beat State this weekend for the love of God, because his seat will be on fire if they lose to Michigan State, given the talent gap that I believe Michigan has over State, despite some nice surprises from State.
The only way they could overcome a Michigan State loss is probably with what Stick Radio is saying. Shout out Stick. Go get Bryce Underwood. Shout out Belleville. No matter the cost.
Well, that could help change some things. But I got to tell you about 1800 Tequila. 1800 Tequila, official tequila of Woodward Sports Lions watch parties and post-game show. Join 1800 Tequila and Woodward Sports every Lions game live at Hayes Social in Shelby Township. And celebrate the wins with Smooth 1800 Tequila, proud sponsor of your Detroit Lions. 1800 Tequila, the best taste in tequila. Drink responsibly.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and WoodwardSports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
How would you like to win free bud for a year? That's right, free smoke, weed, reefer, flower, however you refer to your favorite cannabis product. It's your chance to win free cannabis for a year, compliments of Dispo Dispensary. All you have to do is scan the QR code on the screen, sign up, and you will be entered for a chance to win. Don't miss out on this insane giveaway. Sign up today to elevate your game. Dispo Dispensary, your local plug, must be 21 or older to enter. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, and we are back. It is Wake Up Woodward. Thank you guys for kicking off the day with the WUW Crew and Michigan football. I see Chuck in the chats, man. He said, you know what? He just feels that he deserves the opportunity to turn things around. And I think that's how all of us feel. But that pressure is definitely going to be turned up a little bit more than at the beginning of the season.
Oh, yeah. And for the record, I felt the same way if he at minimum goes 7-5. If this is a losing record with this amount of talent on this roster, there's just there's no way around it that they have been and will be if they continue to lose a poorly coached football team. But unfortunately, there's another team in the state that seems like they're a little better coached. I mean, look what they did after the bye. So, JB Smoove, how are you feeling about Michigan State after their big 32-20 home win over Iowa?
Hey, you guys brought in a program runner.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
You brought in a program runner who also brought in his quarterback and a tight end as well, too. I'm telling you right now, I'm feeling a lot more optimistic about this season after this win versus that damn Oregon battle that they had to go through that just was not fun at all. But they knocked off Iowa. And I was giving Iowa a little bit of credit because this team has definitely changed and transformed from the Iowas of years before. But my God, this team went out there and put on a show. Shout out to Jonathan Kim, the kicker, bro. The kicker set a school record, 6 field goals. Like, I know kickers aren't the most popular persons out there, but hell, I might have to get a Jonathan Kim jersey. I'm just saying, I might rock 97. That's all I'm saying. That's in green and white, not in maize and blue. Sorry, Hutch. No offense. Get well soon though. But this is literally the perfect game that I wanted to see from Aiden Childs. I wanted to see him mature and grow up a little bit more, and you've seen that on the field. You've seen that he wasn't just throwing into double coverage whenever he could, just trying to fit the ball in there. Like, he was actually, all right, nothing's open, let me just run a little bit, take my yards, and then get out of bounds. And that was perfect. That was absolutely perfect for me. Still had a QB rating of 81.3. You okay, Kool-Aid?
What is all that noise?
I think that's from outside.
What the heck is going on? All right.
I think that's from outside. But hey, Aiden Childs, you grew up in this game, and you still got the two-headed monster that is K'Ron Lynch-Adams and Nate Carter that's just running all over this field. And you got Nick Marsh back, 8 receptions, 113 yards. I couldn't ask for anything more out of this team. Hopefully this trend continues to roll on until next week or until this weekend when we face Michigan. Once again, I don't want to poo-poo on your team because that'll come next week when you guys lose. Just saying, foreshadowing that. Trust me, show up to Wake Up Woodward.
Can't even say nothing.
I am going to go off once this team loses. But my God, Michigan State, just keep rolling on, keep being patient. Aiden Childs, I believe in you, my guy. You got everyone's back. Just continue to mature and grow. Jonathan Kim, I'm going to get you that jersey, man. I'm getting that jersey, that 97 green and white, baby.
Well, JB, from my perspective, and this will probably make you very happy to hear this, and we're going to preview the game more as the week goes on, but I'm looking at Aiden Childs, somebody with a dynamic skill set. I mean, that throw that that touchdown pass he threw to Montori Foster, I'm like, that's the stuff I used to see J.J. McCarthy do. Like, that was an NFL-style throw. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at his ability to scramble and run and with his arm strength. And I'm looking at a Wink Martindale coach defense, and I'm like, oh shit, because I get it, and you'll agree. There have been times throughout the season where Aiden Childs, you even saw it in the Iowa game where he has been very turnover prone.
Oh yeah,
but he also has what I believe to be an NFL skill set. So Aiden Childs, your view on him and the season that he has had, and your expectations for him the rest of the season.
I mean, it was slow to start, but you would expect that. I know he came out there and said, hey, we're going out there putting up 50. Like, relax, my guy. Relax. Get out there. See how this landscape's work right now in the Big Ten as opposed to you over in Oregon. Things are a little bit different over here. And as I said before, I was coming into that game knowing that Iowa was a different team, a transformed team from previous years before. But Aiden Childs went out there after the bye. You can tell he took some time to actually sit here and study of what's going on and the mistakes that he was making, knowing to not try and commit those again. That's throwing in the double coverage, just throwing it up there in the end zone, just hoping that something will happen, some magic will happen. No. Be steady as a quarterback. If you don't see anything with your first couple reads, all right, you have the leg power to just take off and run. He needs to just understand that a little bit more. And honestly, it comes as he matures on with this team and with the season. So it's bright for him right now.
Yeah, and I wish that wasn't the case. And what I also wish wasn't the case is that Jonathan Smith and what he's doing with Michigan State, I'm seeing some of the marks of a well-coached team versus some of the hallmarks with Michigan of a poorly coached team, which is, one that we just saw stare us in the face as MSU looked really damn good after the bye. They looked like they used it to their advantage, and I think that, my view of the Iowa game is that it actually was more of a blowout than the score indicated. So, JB, how do you feel that Jonathan Smith is the head man right now and somebody who is tasked with building up the MSU program?
I'm just glad we get out of this embarrassment of Tuck coming, because that shit just hurt so many times when everyone said that the past couple of years, and it was just like, all right, we get it. We were embarrassed. That was a low time for us right then and there. We saw something in Tucker, but obviously it did not happen given his situation, the case going on. You got Jonathan Kim coming over here who, as Kool-Aid said, is a program guy. It's a program builder. It's going to take a little bit more time to get back to that top of the mountain that what we once were, but still, right now, the future looks extremely bright from him. He's bringing in guys from the portal as of right now, which I think is something that Michigan should step up and do. I don't know why you're not doing it, but hey, maybe you feel like homegrown talent is a lot more better, but hey, the whole nation is doing this across the country. Just take a dip into the transport portal. You don't know what you are going to come out with, especially moving kids from one program to the next. Like, they could thrive here. So hats off to Jonathan Kim for doing his thing, bringing his coaching staff, and also taking a step into that transfer portal and actually picking out some gems.
Yeah. But Michigan's got Jayshon Barham, right? Who did play better against Illinois, but for the most part this season has been quite a bit less than what I envisioned. And one more question about Michigan State, because to me, one of their MVPs has been Charles Brantley. When did he all of a sudden become a lockdown corner? What,
Dude,
I mean,
do
right?
not
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I have no idea where this dude came from, but my man is elite out there as a ball hawk. My God. Oh, I can talk about this dude forever, but hey, the defense is stepping up a lot more, and shout out to him as well, too, locking it down these past couple games. Defense is coming along, man. Defense is come a long way, but hey, we're finally making some headway and some moves right now.
Yeah, the defense for Michigan State, I think, has looked a lot better than we've ever anticipated that they would. I mean, you saw the transfers that they brought in, like Jordan Turner and a couple of guys in the secondary, like Ed Woods, but then you see like a homegrown guy like Charles Brantley step up and all of a sudden look like a slightly less version of Will Johnson, which I did not anticipate. So it's going to be a tough matchup, and it wouldn't be fair of us to go an entire show and not let a JB Smoove pontificate on his Michigan State team, a team that looks to be headed in a different direction, but all things can be decided this Saturday.
Hey. JB Smoove over there spiking his green and white football.
Hey, all I got to say, next Monday, it's going to be a party on the morning show, baby. Party on the morning show.
Oh, really? Huh?
Green and white party.
Hey, you know, it's amazing that our season is going to be saved because we're going to beat the Michigan State Spartans.
The season saved.
No, I mean, can't fault your optimism, JB, for real, but I'm not ready to just lay down and die just yet. But more on that later.
Will Johnson has something to say about that.
Yes, he does.
Hey, you know what though? I gotta tell you guys about what am I telling about? The watch party and second best, or just a watch party for right now?
You can do second best.
Hey, let's do the second best then. Cause you guys wanna know where the best Lions pregame party is every single home game? It's right in the city, right in downtown Detroit. At Detroit's very own Second Best Bar, located at 42 Watson Street, for the ultimate fan experience. Enjoy some Smoove Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey while catching the Woodward Sports pregame show. Only at Second Best Bar. Come get some.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
The Soroki's. Gotta grab you a biscuit as well, too. Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza has a limited time offer just in time for this football season. They're debuting their fresh signature flavored wings. Grab your friends, order a New York style pizza, and add some fresh wings to that order as well for any day of the week or this weekend as well, too. Try one of their 7 different flavors that you can see on screen. And you know what? If you don't have time to go in and order, you can always order online at Sorokis.com.
Hey, and then on a full stomach, go to Mark White. Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesales.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
What up, though, people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. And you guys already know it's time to spark up word to dispo with our guy JB Smoove, man.
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
Can KG do it? Can KG do it?
Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Bizzle.
Let's rock.
KG, you sound defeated over there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, my guy.
Not going so well.
Sorry, KG.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, it's not your fault, KG. But what's going on, fellas? I got something for you guys. Kool-Aid, I got to ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Is this the most embarrassing way to lose in a game of one-on-one?
Let's see. Let's check this out.
What?
What? off the pump fake too, like perfect. Dog, what in the world?
Is this the most embarrassing way to lose a game of one-on-one?
That I don't even know. At that point in time, you just, hey, good game. You beat me. Wow. I now want to see what the rest of the game looked like now.
Yeah.
Because his reaction just looked like, dang, he was clowning me the whole game.
Thought you had this one.
How is that your?
That's wild.
How is that your reaction afterwards? It's actually a little understated because this is like a one. I mean, maybe not 1 in a million but like he bounced it between the dude's legs.
That's why I say he must have been getting worked all game long. That's the look of somebody with tired legs and demoralized emotion right there, man. Like straight up.
Demoralized emotion.
KG, Chase in the chat, I don't know if you saw this. He says that KG's mic sounds like it's fixed.
Word, do it.
That's
it still
what
kind of sound a little weird to me, but
that's
if y'all can hear me, let me know.
That's what Chase says.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
All right, bet. Well, then we rocking. This is crazy, though. It's absolute crazy work. You can't lose like that.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
With somebody in the background, too, just looking like, dang.
Hey, you can get embarrassed any day out here. But do you guys remember that time when you almost knocked out your teacher from a baseball game?
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
What? Oh, everybody does that, right?
What? Whoa. What Whoa. I want to say what reflexes, but it looked like she almost jumped almost into the line of the ball.
Yeah. I'm looking at something else, but.
All right, you know what? You just.
KG. $24.99.
Hey, I'm just saying. Thank God, though. Thank God.
My man
she's okay.
KG's like, yo, I got to back up for a whole show right now.
That's all I'm saying, man.
I love it.
Oh, man.
I don't know what you mean, though. I'm a married guy.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Shout out Queen Kool-Aid.
Right.
You don't know what he's talking about, right?
No idea. No clue.
No clue at all. None whatsoever. You guys didn't see anything.
We are all spoken for on this show.
Yeah. What? There was nothing. You saw nothing. Well, guys, you guys ever been on a heater when you're playing a game and then you know what? The nature calls and you just got to go to the bathroom?
Oh
boy.
Yeah.
Where are you going with this, JB?
Well,
Definitely I've been there.
Now you don't have to move from the couch.
What?
Oh, hell nah.
What? Oh, that's disgusting, dog.
This is something I would do, man. I swear to God.
You don't have to move from the couch at all. Look.
Oh, no.
My girlfriend would never see me again.
You just post up in the bathroom. You're good.
Oh, my God.
Oh, dog.
That's crazy.
That doesn't look like it's just for content either, man.
Oh, no, not at all, man.
Wait, hold on. Jay, I'm so mad at the toilet roll.
You don't know who could be using the bathroom, so you just gotta be safe.
I think I see everything in there except hand sanitizer, though. Come on.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. We can't see the sink. That's not a good judgment of character. All I'm saying, man. He got to be single though. You build a shit like this, you single.
Oh, yes.
Oh man! And finally, I will end what's trending with this. Because basketball season is starting up pretty soon, Kool-Aid. So you know what?
Yes, sir.
Even if you get your ankles broken, remember, get back on defense.
Oh,
what?
Oh, the flip. Okay.
Okay. All right. That's
Wow.
effort. Goodness. Ooh,
Ankle
That's
snatch.
that was such a bad snatch, though.
Yeah, that's the
Ankle
back
snatch,
flip.
but still got back up.
He did
Like-
the Booker T spinneroonie and shit on the floor.
My God. Like when your leg turns into rubber, that's snatch.
Yeah. Why didn't my man shoot is the question. He
Yeah.
got to be a poor shooter though.
What?
Because why in the hell would you shoot that after
Shoot that.
What more space do you need?
At that point, it's almost like the basketball gods will guide it in. You know what I mean? And there are basketball gods.
But I don't know, man. You see a dude do a half back roll, you probably like, what the frick?
I know, right? Hey, shout out to that defender. That's a way to not quit. Because you were about to be clowned into oblivion, and now you're right back on defense.
Shout out to him. No matter what, just get back on defense. But that's it for what's trending, you guys. Let's hop into some mailbag.
Hey, let's hop into some mailbag. And we got to hear from our friends at
Feldman.
Get those mailbag questions in the chat.
Feldman
chat
Chevrolet. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
Brian Roof said that looked like, shout out to Brian Roof. And all caps, that looked like Gibbs breaking down Bynum. 100.
That's fair. That's
factual.
That's
still looking
fair.
for Cameron Bynum.
Yeah.
Oh man. And you know what? I have a little bit of a Feldman mailbag question. And chat family, it is time for the Wake Up Woodward mailbag segment presented by Feldman Automotive Group. Get those mailbag questions into the chat. And just Flannel, I know that there is this aspect of, hey, we'll give him some more time. But are you confident in Sherrone Moore with that time?
No.
Ooh.
No.
I mean, how can you be at this point?
Ooh. KG, talk
Please
to me, because you
prove me
didn't get to
wrong,
talk
but
about it a lot during this during that segment.
I mean, like Sam said, he pointed out everything. This all the marks of a bad coach team, like when you look at Michigan, and I just don't know about him. I don't know about these personnel hires, and I just don't know about the future of the program. I do want to give him one more year to at least show that, maybe this year was just, he had to get everything together and start really building this program, but I'm just not liking what I'm seeing on the field so far. They are not supposed to be this bad. And offensively, this is just an absolute shit show. At least on defense, you do got some dogs, but offensively, I just don't see this changing anytime soon. So,
hey, I see the mailbag questions filling up the chat, and I feel you, brother. That's my whole thing.
It's
too.
tough,
It's just
man.
you want to see what he can do to get this thing back on the tracks, and I'm going to continue to say it. You want to see the players in here, but more so than the players, to your point, if he has some deficiencies from a coaching standpoint, you got to go and build your program up.
And you cannot finish with a losing record, period. If you finish with a losing record, then that's probably your job.
Yes, and for the record, thankful for everything Sherrone Moore has done working under Jim Harbaugh, being an interim being an interim coach. I will always be grateful for that. And he deserved an opportunity, and I was all for it. It's just, as KG said, as I'm continuing to say, I think the line of delineation to whether he gets another year or not is you got to at least have a winning record. I'm literally going to grant you 7-6 and you can stay. That's not that hard. Anywho.
Listen, Mason Leach. Feldman mailbag with Michigan landing 5-star tackle Andrew Babaloa and moves back up in the recruiting rankings. Should Michigan fans still want to give up on Sherrone? And you know what? When you talk about the future, they do got a quarterback in waiting as well to pair with this 5-star lineman that's coming in. How you feeling about it, though?
I mean, it's a big get. Don't get me wrong. A 5-star O lineman. I mean, you see some of the deficiencies that have hindered Michigan football. Evan Link, I'm talking to you. So getting better talent on the offensive line, that's big. I think my overlying concern, though, is that what is he going to do with said talent? You've seen what he's done with talent that he has worked with. He has been in the program for many years, and they have underachieved tremendously. So that is something, and that will give me more confidence that if Sherrone Moore can finish the year with a winning record, that the future might actually be bright. But you gotta finish with a winning record.
Shot. Feldman mailbag. Eastern Michigan versus Michigan 2025 at the Big House. Who wins?
Michigan. Eastern's poverty.
Hey, and that's a big recruit on the way, though, I hear.
And now, I mean, they're not poverty. They're mid-major.
Shout out to Noah.
Hey,
Noah K.
Yep.
Say his name. Say his name.
I won't. Sam is probably a better linguist, man. We'll let him
I will not say
that. Alan W.
That's a bad thing waiting to happen. If I even slightly mispronounce,
everybody will clip it into oblivion.
Like I could not enunciate the E just slightly, and it would sound like I was saying a bad word. So, anywho, let's. I love.
I'm telling y'all, man. Smash that like button for Flannel, man. Who's the worst? This is Alan W. Feldman mailbag. Who's the worst commissioner? Sports commissioner. Silver for giving Boston an infinite money glitch, or Goodell for suspending Jamo for taking pre-workout but nothing to Rashee Rice or Jordan Addison?
I don't know. I don't know. To me, I understand that the crimes don't seem equal. To me, it's never been about Jameson Williams not being a good person or not being somebody who could eventually mature. It's about the inavailability. And if those are the rules, you got to follow them. And I've been a lot easier on Jamo than I think a lot of people expected me to be. I think he's going to respond and make it up to the team, but I don't really... It just is what it is. I don't want to play the if game. Yeah. Of course, Rashee Rice and what Jordan Addison did was worse. Everybody knows that.
Ed O'Neill, Feldman Mailbag. Shout out to Ed O'Neill, one of the OGs. We always appreciate your support, brother. If I told you the Lions would go 1-1 in the stretch of Houston and Green Bay, would you take it? So if you could guarantee that. And then he also asked, how likely do you think they go 2-0?
I think, God, obviously the stock answer is yes, because I don't think anybody's predicting the Lions to go 16-1, despite how good that they've looked, especially, with no Aiden Hutchinson. However, I'd have to add a caveat. If you could guarantee that they would beat Green Bay and lose to Houston, I would take that. But if you can't do that, I'd probably just let it play out and risk potentially 0-2. And this is a team that has shown that they can beat anybody on any day. You saw last week when they didn't have Aiden Hutchinson, they just made all of the winning plays when it mattered the most. So who's to say they couldn't go 2-0? I don't think it's likely, but you'd have to guarantee me a Green Bay victory as part of that package because Green Bay is right on their heels in the division, because of course they are.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to say, too. Green Bay is a team that you absolutely have to watch. Your divisional opponent. Yeah. I was hoping that they were going to take a loss in the last game. And it just didn't work out quite well. But the Detroit Lions are a squad that I do believe is going to continue to control their destiny from here on out, and that includes beating Green Bay.
Yes, it's a big game to get.
What up, Doc KG?
No, I think that Titans loss would be a bad loss, but I would much rather have that than a Green Bay loss. You got to win your games in the division, so that's just where I'm sitting right now. If they were to go 1-1, it's got to be the Packer game.
Mason Leach, is Michigan back to being a basketball school? Even Neil thinks Michigan basketball is going to be elite this year. So I guess it's more or less love for Michigan basketball than anything.
I mean, Dusty May was a proven program builder. So that's I'm very, very happy that he's our head basketball coach, especially coming off the Juwan Howard era.
Oh my goodness, I'm sifting through these, trying to figure out which one's going to be the last one. There's some interesting ones. Desert Stallion 14, Feldman, Mel Sack, how concerned are you with MC? Hey!
Look at this guy over
here. You know what? I feel kind of... let me finish this question, and then we're going to get my best friend, my best friend ever, Stick, introduced here. Oh, man. All right, how concerned are you with MCDC aggressive play calling like the fake punt on our 30-yard line? Do you think MCDC will continue aggression in playoffs? Yes or no? I see you over there, KG.
What?
Aggressive Dan Campbell, man. Hey, we saw him again in this previous game. To me, I'm like, you know what? Be you, Dan Campbell. If that's what works and if that's what wins, that's what I'm going to get behind. Even if it makes me sweat a little bit, because I was like, what are you doing?
The problem is I don't think there's an analytic on earth that would say that was the right move. If it's 4th and more than 5 from your own 30, you can't fake it. They got away with it, but that was a bad move from the beginning. Still love you, Coach Campbell. Kind of feel the same way that Stick does.
What up, though, brother?
How you guys doing?
Hey, I love
my man with the K drip.
We had our fantasy basketball draft last night.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Shout out.
Yeah.
I love it,
You know
man.
who I took?
You stole him from me, too. I was trying to pick him up.
I was, too. All of us were.
I knew you motherfuckers were trying to get him.
I feel like
He's on my team now.
So how much is going to
cost?
Y'all
can stroke my team all year.
Won't be doing that,
but cost, Stick, for me to be able to get K.
Who drafted Ivy?
On my squad.
Because someone snagged him.
Yeah, I don't know who
they
drafted
took him like 20 picks early.
Whoa.
I was expecting to draft him, but I couldn't.
Hey, I did select Ron Holland, though. Shout out to Ron Holland, our rookie.
But back to what you guys were talking about, Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
In his interview, he just said, literally, like, if the call's there and the matchups are right, we're gonna run the play. And he said it's about the numbers. It's no longer about the numbers because the numbers are right. Now it's about the execution, and they just didn't execute.
I would say that.
So, like, to Dan Campbell, honestly, these aren't even, like, emotional decisions. Like, this is just all right, they're lined up like this. This is the call. If they're not lined up like this, we check out of it.
Personnel and execution.
And that's it. Yeah. That's it. There's zero emotion in this for the guy. Like, that's one thing I realized hearing that quote.
And I would say that on that particular play, Jalen Reeves-Maybin was supposed to pitch the damn ball. If he pitches it to, say, Onivaki, maybe that's a first down. Maybe. I'm just saying the defender was there. It probably would have been close, but it wasn't supposed to look like that. That was
I
just
don't
bad
like
execution.
it, but he says the analytics are there. Flannel saying.
All right.
I know.
You can't
Does
win
that
them
make
all,
more
man.
sense though? Like, hey, if they're lined up in this position.
Of course it makes more sense, but I still think it's a greater degree of not making sense. With all due respect, by the way. With all due respect.
Let me see here if there's one more. I think that's a show, man.
All right.
Is that a show?
Let's call
it. Everybody feeling good?
Oh, yeah.
Again, love that shirt, Stick.
Not sure how I feel about this Mason Leach situation.
No, he's in the chat right now.
I know he is. And then I said, "Where'd you go?" And he's like, "I had my grandmother's funeral." So, like, do I believe that?
That's tough.
Like, as a good human, I want to believe that, I feel bad for the guy now.
Yeah.
But as a Lions fan, when he was there when it was 10-0, but then he disappeared, it's like, that's kind of suspect. But he said the funeral started at 2. But
the timeline would check out.
The timeline, the time. Yeah,
it's hard to.
I don't know. So I'll let you off the hook on
He
this
got
one,
out.
Mason Leach.
He got out.
But you know the bet, and you know what happened. We'll leave it at that.
Hey, you know what, man? I love that the next few days are just gearing up to let all Sparty Nation down. I'm sorry, JB. If there's one thing that I'm going to bet the house on, Michigan is beating Michigan State, brother.
I mean, you could just give me the keys to the house. That's fine. Make it
JB
easier.
is stunting. I love stunning JB, man. Hey, but that is a show. We got one more super chat. Dante151, $4.99. Even though it's not the Lions, that injury to Chris Godwin last night was really sad.
Yep.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
Yeah, that was tough. That was tough, man. But this is Wake Up Woodward, man. It's been a great show, chat family. As always, you guys went insane today. Thank you for the support and for honestly going through this Michigan football depression journey with us this morning. It's tough, but
you know what? Can I address this?
You don't even like college football, Stick. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Really, Flannel?
You openly say that you don't like college football.
You're right. It's not my favorite football.
Go ahead. Continue.
It goes
Continue.
high school, college
Continue.
in my rankings of football. Because I don't really feel like watching Delaware State School for the Blind versus a Power 4 school on a Saturday. Sorry. I got better things to do with my time than know who's going to win every fucking game in NCAA. But regardless, what I'm hearing for Sherrone Moore is exactly what I heard about Jim Harbaugh. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. Flannel, you wanted Harbaugh ousted.
That's not the same.
He can't get a quarterback in here. He's supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. Where's his quarterback?
It's
You
not
heard
the
that
same.
for 7, 8, 9 years. You heard that about this guy. So Sherrone Moore, year 1, bare shelf on the offense, not the defense, bare shelf on the offense, brand new everything, and they don't look good. They didn't look good under Harbaugh immediately.
Yes, they did. They
either.
were a 10-win team.
Why did you want him gone year 3?
But
Why were they selling
Because he
tickets
wasn't
for
beating
$1 year 5?
It was after 2020.
Yeah,
to be fair.
why?
Yeah.
Why you want him gone then?
Because he still hadn't beaten Ohio State yet or went to a major bowl game.
Won
and
the
the
Big
2020
Ten.
team, they had a losing
Couldn't get
record,
his quarterback.
man. They had a losing record in 2020. I
Yep,
was wrong.
there you go.
I was wrong, but this is completely different.
and now you're wrong again.
I'm not wrong. Sherrone Moore sucks right now. What if they have a losing record with all this talent? What are you going to say then?
The same thing you said about
Are you
Harbaugh.
kidding me? Jim Harbaugh turned a 5-7 program to a 10 wins, I think 8, 10, 9, bad. Big Ten, that. I mean, I could do.
But Michigan wanted him gone. It wasn't enough. It's never enough for these guys, and that's what drives me nuts. You're right. I'm not a college football fan, but you know what? I observe what everybody's doing. Michigan State fans annoy the shit out of me too, but it doesn't matter. I'm telling you, what I'm hearing about Sherrone Moore is what I heard about Jim Harbaugh for almost the entirety of his career there. Then the guy wins a national championship, and everybody praises him, which they should, but they also should have understood it takes time time to build something, especially from the ground up. And that's what Sherrone Moore is doing on the offensive end, not defensive end.
I get that, but he can't have a losing record. I don't care what happens. If you go and have a losing record, then you're not the man for the job, just flat out. Like you said, Jim Harbaugh came in here and it was 10 wins every year. We just wanted the Big Ten in Ohio State, and he wasn't giving that to us until after 2020.
And that's why he was brought in.
He was losing to Michigan State, too.
And listen,
he was losing to Penn State, too.
The personnel,
like he was losing to everybody, guys.
The personnel hires are bad, too. Like, it's not the same situation.
Trash. It was eras of trash. Back-to-back eras, coaching eras of trash. Jim Harbaugh had to dig the team out of that. Sherrone Moore was already here and already in the program. And that, to me, is what makes it disappointing. I do believe that there's some optimism to be had, but he has to show that, at least for me, he can build that program.
You've given him how many games? How many games have been played in the NCAA season this year?
It's not about the wins and the losses per se. It's about how
what else is it about?
Stick is how it looks.
The coaching, the strength and development.
Give the guy some time. Jim Harbaugh was fucking up in dudes' trees and having sleepovers.
It didn't look like this. Stick, it didn't look like this.
Sherrone Moore's different, man.
Sherrone Moore, buy a cheeseburger for somebody. Listen, but that's the thing. When you're talking about building a program at the collegiate level, sometimes you got to be a little bit different. When we look at all the top coaches who build programs, they're all quirky, different people who we all say.
How's that working out for Alabama, who hired your premier coach?
You have to look at their positional coaches.
No, how's it working out? How's it working out for Alabama?
I mean,
they went out and hired a premier coach from a Power 5, the Washington dude. He was, okay, but you can't replace Nick Saban that easy. It's tough, and even for a guy who was already winning at that level, it was tough to go into a different program and win. So just give the guy more than a fucking half of a year. That's all I'm asking out of you, moron.
Everybody here is giving him more.
No, you're not. Nobody is.
I'm saying let him finish the season.
We all say he deserves a year to figure this out.
If they lose to State and then by God forbid they lose to Northwestern, you could be looking at a team that finishes 4-8, and that's not crazy, Stick. That's not even a crazy thought.
Okay, it's a rebuild.
It's not, though. You have...
What do you mean it's not, though? You don't have a guy that can throw the ball 7 yards.
But you have the best tight end in the country.
You have summer to do something.
Did Sherrone have all summer?
Yes.
Was Sherrone known that he was going to be in charge of the program?
And if
I don't want to hear that.
All summer.
Jim Harbaugh left the cupboard empty at the quarterback position. Would you agree?
Bro, you can trip and find somebody who can throw more than 75 yards.
Oh, I know. I can fucking do it. I don't know why these guys can't.
That's the problem.
It is the problem.
It's how it looks, Stick.
No, but Stick, let me just be measured in all of this. They turn the football over. They commit too many penalties. They make no second half adjustments. They're underperforming their talent. Look how they looked off of a bye week. That's a poorly coached football team. It just is. And I want Sherrone Moore to work out. I advocated for him to get the job. It's just in modern college football, you can turn things around really, really quickly. And part of the hallmark of making decisions and when one doesn't work, you move on quickly. And I'm giving Sherrone Moore the rest of the season. I really am. He needs to win a couple more games. And I think he can, but I'm fair to have some doubts.
So what's he need to do to prove to you that he can deserve to coach a second year?
Winning record.
That's it.
That's it.
That's your baseline.
Yes.
Oh, for you won't give him the extra year if it's a losing record.
No, I will not. Ooh. He's gone. Winning record.
You?
Yeah, same.
Oh, you're out with the losing record.
Same.
It's just done.
6-6, you got to be on the hot seat. Anything less than that, you got to be out.
Man.
You can stay for all I care. I don't really care.
We wasn't asking you, JB.
The whole time.
Listen, Michigan State fan, you ain't got shit to talk about either. Your program
this
sucks too.
Conversation.
Just came here flamethrowing, man. Let's rock.
UDM, go Titans.
Go Titans, man. Hey, I think that's the show. Shout out to intern Chase, Matt Broder.
Hold on. I gotta respond to something in the chat. This is from Just a Fan. Sam Overglazed, U of M. Now he is trying to protect his take. Let's be honest. Just a Fan. Nowhere did I see that you predicted them to potentially have a losing record. So that's just unacceptable on every level, given the talent that Michigan has. Was I maybe a little overzealous picking them to go 10-2? Sure.
We all was.
We're talking about a realistic possibility that they go 5-7. They could lose to State. My worst nightmare could come true.
You know what the worst part about this Michigan State matchup? Sorry to come back in.
No, go.
No, you're not.
It's no matter who wins, a crappy team is going to act like they're good.
That's fair.
That's what's going to happen. That's what I'm going to have to hear from Spenny, Anson, and if it happens, I'm going to have to hear it from Flannel. Like, either way, a not good team, someone's going to walk around with their dick out for a week because they beat another not good team. It's just like Neil said about Russell Wilson versus Aaron Rodgers. Somebody was going to have a comeback game.
Russell, you guys overhate Russell Wilson.
Give me a pair of amazing blue golf balls, please?
Yes. Neil.
Uh-oh.
Neil rules here. Maybe he can speak
here.
some.
He's gonna kick us out.
Yeah, he gonna speak. Get out. That's what he gonna speak. He want us to get the hell out, except me, because I'm here.
No, nothing.
All right, guys.
Well,
that is a show.
You did this, Stick. It's your fault.
Get your shit and get out of here.
Get out.
It's over, folks. The show is over.
The president.
The contract studio has to be empty by 10:01. Get out of here.
The president has spoken.
Hey, Mr. Elite himself.
Get out.
This Elite Booth. Detroit's #1 draft pick in the South Booth today. We're commuting things. KG, aka Black Hollywood.
Hey,
what up, though, brother?
I don't know. It's been a weird day so far. This mic won't work. All type of shit going wrong. But we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate y'all tuning in, tapping into the show, man. I'm going to be here. I can't speak for the rest of y'all. And, yeah, we'll see you in the next one, man.
Woman Sports MVP. It's a Tuesday, man. Instead of Booth, it's JB Smoove. What up, though?
Hey, this has been a hell of a show. I have no complaints at all. Stay tapped in. The Big D Energy coming up next. I do have a surprise for you on that show. So just stay locked in. Just stay locked in.
Stay locked.
Fingers crossed.
Woman Sports vet of the show and of the entire network. Hey, the more things change, the more Flannel Sam stays the same. What up, though?
Oh,
good
yes.
show.
Yes. And I think we can all agree on, even those on every side, is that Pistons home opener tomorrow. That is going to be, it's going to be fun.
Let's go, K, man.
Love to hear.
So happy. You already know. It's your boy Brandon Dan K, Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Let's go, Pistons, man. The home opener is tomorrow. We got a packed show for you. Might have some guests. You already know the legend Rob Beard is going to be on, too. Let's rock, man. It's been a great day. Thank you guys for your support. It's been Wake Up Woodward. Have a good one.